Hey guys, welcome back to Rocket Gyan, my fellow space tubers. Okay, so here we are again to witness the launch of another module to the space station, and this time China is going big because China, if you don't know till now, China has launched uh, its core module for its own space station, and today is the day when it will launch another module to the space station. What is the module? What is this China's space station? And what was the core module which was launched? We will talk about everything here. And right now we are just seeing the live views of the rocket itself, and seems like we are having some means the platforms are right now open, which we want to see, obviously, right? And it's now right now being fueled up. And if you have joined us, you know that in the previous two attempts, there were two attempts for this rocket, and in the previous two attempts, both of them basically um, didn't go as planned because of certain issues, and those were the technical issues. I will talk about those issues too. What was the issue, obviously, and still it's a speculated one. Take it with a grain of salt, but still, you can say it's like 80% chances that is true. So right now it is being fueled up. So hi everyone, hi Tio, hi Hugo, hi Hongle you, uh, hi lolman Z. I wonder if they're going to deorbit this one this time. Yes, they will. See, there is not a problem with the core stage being deorbited or not. They have this upper stage for um, um that will go into the orbit. The problem with the Long March 5B was that it didn't have any upper stage. That's why there was a problem with the core stage, because it was so big. But here the upper stage is a smaller one, just like every other upper stage which we have for the other rockets. So it's not a problem whether whether they deorbit or if it comes about comes into the atmosphere on its own. So yeah. Uh, Hi Jim Peck, got a launch today. Hi Jim Peck, how are you, man? Good to see you. And don't worry, yes, I have integrated some KSP today also. So good morning to everyone who are watching. So again, now let's have a look at the rocket itself and what it is being are we being offered today. And yes, so this is the Long March 7 rocket in front of you, and this is the rocket which is going today. This is, you can say, medium lift to the heavy configuration payload to the orbit. And talking about this rocket, it has four side boosters, which are liquid fueled one. Okay, that runs on um, uh, uh, YF100 engines, and the core stage also runs on the YF100 engines. The only difference being the core stage has two of them and the boosters have one of them. And this YF100 consumes RP1 and LOX as its fuel. Okay. And then we have the upper stage, which runs on four YF 115 engines, and then obviously the payload. So again, this is the rocket which has the payload capacity to medium lift, uh, and medium lift to heavy. Okay. And talking about the difficulty which it faced beforehand, I mean, there were two scrubs of this rocket, right? So there was some technical difficulty. First of all, the first day when it was scrubbed, it was speculated that there was a problem with the sprinkler system, that sound suppression system, right? In which they spray water onto the pad so that sound does not create so much of vibration that it can destroy the pad. That's why they sprinkle the water before the rocket lifts off. You see that in every other launch, the Soyuz, the Atlas, and all those things. So yeah, here the first day that happened. The second day there was an issue with the rocket itself. I mean, the still, what am I saying? Whatever am I saying? Take it with a grain of salt. Nothing is official. So, and everybody has just taken some educated guess, seeing all the people on the launch pad and whatever they were working on. So yeah. the other day the issue happened with the pressure accumulator with one of the booster. And if you know the naming conventions of these booster, of the side booster, it has the booster number 1 actually had one issue with the pressure accumulator. Pressure accumulator does nothing but acts as a sloshes for the the liquid fuel. So it had some issue. That pressure accumulator is now has now been replaced, and yeah, the rocket is good to go. That is pretty much about the rocket itself. And now let's have a look at the payload. So the payload is this. We have the Tianzhou-2 Cargo module, and here you can see that from the picture itself we can see certain components of this is a real picture. Obviously the antenna, the thrusters, the attitude control thrusters, and the solar panels here, which will extend in the orbit, obviously. And yeah, and you can see that this section is basically a lot thinner than this section which is above. And this differentiation which you can see in the configuration, in which means this in the picture only you can figure out that this module which is in the bottom is actually a propulsion module which stores fuels and provide uh, adequate propulsion, basically GNC, the guidance and navigation control systems, and space propulsion. All of these things are here. And then the main cargo module, which it is actually being known for, is the upper one. So yeah, that is the case here. And this is one more pic which you can see here, being assembled and maybe tested for certain things. And then this is one of the graphics which you can see here. And this graphic is basically tells us the specifications of this cargo module. And right now you can see the core task for the bottom part of this spacecraft is for orbital refueling, which means it has the capability to even to provide the fuel, obviously, to this main space station, the Tianhe core module. But also it can double up as the station keeper, because like for ISS, if you know that Soyuz acts as a station keeper if to change the orbit, or to to maintain the orbit. So it can also develop like that. But Tianhe core module, which is already in the the orbit, has this ability to um, you know the keep the station on its intended orbit, because it has those thrusters and engine. So yeah, so talking about the weight, it is around 13.5 tons, to which is the total mass. And the Long March 7 itself can carry around 13 tons to low earth orbit. So yeah, it's an adequate launch vehicle which is launching today for this payload. And the payload for the means the total cargo it can carry is around 6.5 tons. And out of 6.5 tons, now you can bifurcate whether you want some cargo or full cargo, which means if you want like 4 tons of cargo, then you can go with 2 tons of fuel. So that's how it works. And yeah, so this is the docking adapter which you can see. And this is the propulsion module. So everything should be clear by now. And will this once no, it won't be crashing anywhere. So yeah. Oh, we can see, guys, the platforms are opening. The platforms are opening, which you can see, which is a very, very good news, man. This means that we are going for a launch today. Previously, we saw that the platforms didn't open, the below platforms didn't open, and it has opened as per the given schedule, which implies that we are going for the launch today. And yes, now let's just finish this up quickly, and then we can have a look at all of these. So yeah, this was pretty much about the Tianzhou-2 Cargo spacecraft. This is the internal view of the spacecraft, wherein you can see all the uh, the cargo which has been packed inside the module, which you can see here, or everything is strapped onto its plates. Obviously you don't want the cargo to move around in when it is launching, and obviously you don't want the cargo to float around when in space. So yes, this is how you strap the cargo. Now talking about how the this the graphical user interface of this Tianzhou spacecraft looks like. This is how it looks like, which you can see here. This is a pretty epic, view which you have got here. We can see some parameters here, the XYZ position vectors here, the velocity vectors here. We can see VXY, VY, and VZ, and obviously the crosshair for the reference, as in where it is going. So this is the graphical user interface for the cargo spacecraft, the Tianzhou-2 cargo spacecraft. This looks pretty epic, right? Okay. Now, guys, is everything going good? Do we know? Okay, fine. Now we can have a look at the Tianhe module. Why not? Right, this Tianhe module, this is a core module of the China space station, and this has already been launched. And I wanted you to see, I won't go into deep as in what are the characteristics and all those things, but still, you can, if you want to know more about this module, you can check out my stream which I did for this launch, wherein I covered everything about this module. But in short, I will just go through the things which are necessary to understand today's launch. Here you can see this is the node cabin, which has like a docking adapter here behind, and at the bottom part, and then the above part. The above one actually is a EVA airlock. It's not a docking port, but yeah. On this part, on the left and right hand side of this module, basically the two experimental module will dock with it, and yeah, complete the station. Those experimental module are actually research stations, wherein the taikonauts, the astronaut name for the Chinese. So yeah, those are called taikonauts. The taikonauts will go there and perform the research activities and all the science and all those things. So they are called Wangxian and Mangxian, which will dock with on this part left hand side and the right hand side. And then talking about this forward docking port, this will be used to dock the Shenzhou spacecraft, which is a spacecraft for manned mission to these stations. Okay, and then we have another docking port here, which is kind of like a backup port. uh, if they want to have two Shenzhou spacecraft docked with the station at the same time, they can do it by docking one there and one here. So yeah, it's like that. And there is one more docking port at the aft part of it, which you can see here on this diagram. This is one port on the aft part, and today the module which is being launched today will be docking with the aft part. So this aft part has this special ability. You can say it's a quick docking port. You don't need to worry about certain kind of complex maneuvers as to dock with this aft docking unit. And there are some less safety hazards also, because obviously when you are docking in the forward docking port, there are so many things which will be docked here in future, the Wangxian, maybe the Shenzhou spacecraft. So you need to be more precise. But not with the aft one. There is nothing, just a simple docking port here. So yeah, you can just go and dock with this. So this is the aft docking port which will be used today for the Tianzhou-2 spacecraft. And yeah, this is the render given by, I didn't remember the name, I'll tell you the name, but yeah, this is the render which actually shows how the docking will look like. This is the aft docking port, and this is the Tianzhou-2 spacecraft which will dock with this station. Below Master is the guy who provided this render. Shout out to you, and yes, that is pretty much about it. And again, the platforms have been closed. Wow, what has happened here? Are we not having the live broadcast or what? We are having the live broadcast, but it looks like um, they have paused the video. It does not feel, I can still hear the sound here, which means it's still live, but we can't, see any movement in the video itself. uh Not good. Let me just see and confirm what is actually happening right now, whether it's a streaming glitch or whether it is has closed or what. um this is a picture, not a video. I can see that, but is this because we don't have any other link? Do you have any other link, guys? uh this is just a sec, just a sec. Let me just try to do something here. It's coming again. Looks like they are having some issues with the live broadcast here, but the pictures are looking, yeah, now again we are we are live. Okay, so they were having some issues with the with those you can see here, it's like bit sloppy here, which means that they are having some issues with the internet connectivity. Not on my end. My end is fine, but still. Okay, I may find some other stream link. Just a sec. Feel like this stream is like space lens. Okay, guys, if whatever, if you have any other streaming link, you can surely tag me on Twitter, DM me so that I can have the link here. Right now doesn't seem like we have space lens. I know space lens is there, but can you give me the link for that? Because seems like we are having a problem here. Does not feel like it's working here. uh I will check that on Bilibili. Just a sec. Again, the problem is that everything is written in Chinese, and there is a problem me to do things. Those I got it. This life. Yeah, finally. Okay, cool. Ah, okay, and here you go. So everything is good. CCTV 13 is also providing the broadcast or what? Is it? No, I don't think so though. But we have the live stream now, so I should change the course here. Okay, this should work. Okay, finally, yeah, the things, the lower platforms haven't swung back to its closing position. We are go for the launch today, and yes, everything is looking perfect for the launch conditions today. Also, the launch time has been confirmed, which is 12:55 UTC by the CCTV only. So yes, we are going for the launch today, guys. Although I'm trying to see whether CCTV is like live streaming it or what. Nope, it is not. Maybe it will live stream after the those special coverages. But yes, there is no sound in it right now. So yeah. Oh, thank you so much for that 10. Although I can't pronounce your name, but thank you so much, man. Really, really helps the channel to stay alive and bring out this type of content. Thank you so much for all those things. Yes, Jim. This launch tower. This is a very special one here because we haven't seen this type of thing in with any other launcher, right? Only this one has this. So it's technically a VAB, you can say that, but it's not a VAB. VAB is something else, but it's like you can say that it's a maintenance building wherein they can roll back in and do some kind of maintenance on all those things. So yeah, this is a pretty thoughtful uh, building here because you don't have to roll back to the VAB to do any other corrections or maintenance if so. So yeah, okay. Now we can move on to the another part which I wanted all you to know. Check. Okay. Now this is the construction plan for the China space station, which you can see 11 launch missions in total via three types of launch March carrier rockets: the Long March 5B, the Long March 7, which is being launched today, and then the Long March 2F rocket. So this Long March 2F rocket will be used for launching uh, the manned spacecraft, which is the Shenzhou spacecraft, to the station. The Long March 7 will be used to launch the Tianzhou-2 spacecraft, which is a cargo spacecraft to the space station, which means any type of cargo resupply which needs to become, it will be carried by this carrier rocket. And then this the Long March 5B, which is a heavy lift rocket around 25 tons to Leo, will be launching the core module, the Vention lab, as well as the Manxian lab capsule to the station. So yep, that is a thing which we need to see. Okay. And the total construction time which will China will take for completing this station will be around 1 year only. 2021 they started, and by 2022 they are planning to complete the station. So this is the timeline which you can see here, and this is how they will operate. They will first send the cargo module, then the manned spacecraft, then again the cargo module, then the manned spacecraft, cargo manned. This is how the things will look like. But in this phase they will also send the Wangshan and the Mangshan capsule, which is the lab capsule. Okay. And yeah, I totally forgot to tell you that what the cargo module is actually carrying today. The cargo module will be carrying a 3-person supplies for 3 months. No, 3 months, 3% supplies to the station. So yeah, that is the case here. And now I think we can skip on to everything, but yes, this was a thing which you should be looking at right now. And I wanted to discuss also. So shout out to Vonnie for providing such a cool uh, you know this graphic here which you can see. And first of all, you can see from this is the trajectory. You can see the trajectories, graphic. The ignition and liftoff will happen at t equal to 0. That the boosters will separate at t equal to 173 seconds. Then the first stage will engine cutoff 185, 187 first stage separate. And then the interstage separation and ignition at the same time at around 188 seconds. The fairing separation, and then finally the second stage will cut off, and the spacecraft will separate and the solar panels will deploy. So this is the typical flight profile which the Long March 7 will follow. And as you can see, there is no core stage which will go into the orbit and prove to be hazardous for anyone. So yeah, it's not a problem for this launch vehicle. And talking about the mission trajectory, here you can see that the launcher itself will used will actually basically align the apoapse of that orbit which has which means the Tianzhou-2 orbit, to match with the station's orbit. You can see that this is the highest point in the orbit. It will be around matched around with the space station orbit. This is the second one, is the space station orbit. And then finally at this position, when they both are near, the thrusters will burn on the Tianzhou-2 spacecraft, which will basically, align both of these orbits together, and then finally the docking sequence will occur and the thing will dock with each other. So yes, this is how the things look like. If I can just zoom in a bit, that would be okay. Here you can see this is how the the engine sections look like. If you see it from behind, the four boosters and then the two engines, the YF100 engines on the core stage. This is how the configuration look like, and for the second stage, this is how it looks like. So yes, that is the case here. Fine. Okay. We are T minus 44 minutes until the launch, guys. Everything is looking good. Uh, the launcher is looking good. The fueling is going on, and we can already see the platforms being open to the lower platforms are open. Okay. Okay, guys, the middle platform is also opening, which you can see, guys. We are going in for the launch, and yes, we can see everything is looking good here. And hopefully we don't get a scrub today, because the scrubs in China is very rare. They don't want to scrub the rocket. uh, in my streaming, whenever I have started the stream and I have been following the Chinese space agency, they haven't scrubbed any mission. But this was the first time they scrubbed for like 2 times in a row. But again, now we can see the middle platforms are also opening. uh, and yep, we are going in for the launch. What will be the ground track for this launch? uh See, talking about the ground track, we don't know actually the mission, the trajectory which it will follow. We know the rough trajectory, but don't know the exact one. So that we will have to look like, because for the previous missions, like for which was supposed to, this launch was supposed to happen initially on 20th, and on 20th the rendezvous was supposed to happen like in 3 hours. That was a fast rendezvous which they were supposed to do. But now, I haven't done the math, and I haven't heard from the sources also right now whether today's launch is a fast rendezvous one or not, because the phase angle, I have heard that the phase angle is a bit different for this one. So yeah, this looks so cool, man. This is so cool. When is Shenzhou 12? Shenzhou 12 will launch after this one, once this is launched perfectly. So yeah. Okay, fine. We are T minus 40 minutes until the launch. Although, since we do have some latency on the spacecraft and on the means this live stream, so maybe the timer, maybe like few seconds ahead or behind, we'll have to see. So yeah. Hi Verika, hi Rocket Gyan, good to see you again. You are good to tell us about this. You are so informative. Thank you so much, Verika. uh Delayed about 5 minutes. Okay. Then I don't think so. It's like delayed about 5 minutes. We'll have to see. Although Will India participate in this in the space station? Walrus says India is planning to, launch its own space station. But yes, interestingly enough, India is proposing some experiments on the Chinese space stations too. So yes, we'll have to watch out for that. Thank you so much, Chris Go, for that 299. When Tianzhou 2 will dock with the station? See, this is a question which, if you have asked me on the 20th, I would have told you, because it was like a 3 hour duration to rendezvous. But although this time we don't know whether the rendezvous is fast enough or what will going to happen. I mean, if it is a 3 hour, or whether they will be going for a this simple slow moment transfer one, we'll have to see with that. So yep. Yeah, T minus 39 minutes until the launch. Everything is looking good, because previously we have seen that even the platforms, the above platform which used to open, they also were closed. But here everything is looking good. Yes, K, I have checked the Twitter, and everything is looking good. I right now, thank you so much for everyone who is sending the links. Um, but right now it's working, so I'll stick to it only. Hi, Louis Smith. Hi, how are you? If you have any other questions, guys, you can surely ask me right now. But I am getting so excited for this launch right now. Uh, it is getting real, because this time is getting real. And yep, Louis Smith, very well. Thank you. Hope you had a great birthday. I had a blasting birthday, especially on YouTube, because Kerbal Space Program dev team themselves, left a comment on the video, the stream which I did for the um, birthday, for my birthday. And yeah, that was a great gift from their side. And thank you so much, Kerbal Space Program. You are making a great game. And yes, Jim Peck is also here, one of the developer. And yeah, eagerly waiting for KSP2. Rest of the Long March 7, please tell me. Okay, so it uses YF100 engines, the boosters. There are 4 YF100 boosters and 2 uh, in the core stage. So talking about the total thrust, around the one engine produces around 1200 kilonewtons of thrust at sea level. So you can do the math here. So we have total in 6 engines, and so 7200 kilonewtons of thrust it will provide. So thanks, Chris. I knew India's project also selected in CSS. Oh, is it selected? That is a good thing to have. uh, that's a good thing to hear. Although those are the institutes which are doing some research on the space station, we'll have to see how the things will look like. Yes, Tritha, you are very right. India is developing their own human space flight missions right now. The Gaganyaan mission, the uncrewed flight, is scheduled for December 2021 this year. Let's see how that happens. So yes, Cobra Seal. I think this mission will be successful as always. Chinese have launched so many rockets by now, and YF100 is their flight proven engine. So yes, I don't think so they will have any problem with that. And those are you who are wishing me happy birthday. Although my birthday has gone on 26, but still thank you so much for your kind wishes. We are 35 minutes until the launch. Things are looking great right now. And do we have any other update? Nope. Also guys, if you want to support me on what I do, you can always and always hit that subscribe button, and maybe become a Patreon if you can. That really helps the channel. Or super chat is always enabled for one time funding. Okay. Also guys, I don't know what is the status of the likes here. If you can bump up those numbers, those like numbers. What are we having right now? So we are at 132, 500 watching. Can we get to 250 likes right now? Hi Rocket Gyan, 10 Rocket Gyan to reach 10k subs. Hope that happens. We'll have to see whether it happens today or not, but it really uh, is looking like impossible, because I know how many subs I gain with every stream. So I don't think so it will happen today, but if it happens, that would be a good thing to know. What is the height of the rocket? It's around, okay, I just uh, showed you the graphic where actually you saw the height of the rocket. Let me just uh, share that again. So here you can see that this is a Long March 7 rocket. It's around 53.1 meters in height, and maximum diameter of 3.35 meters. So this is how the rocket looks like. Medium lift vehicle, around 13 to 14 tons to low Earth orbit is its capacity. And today is launching the cargo module to the core module of China's space station. So that's the thing here. Good evening from New Zealand. Guys, let's just, let me know whether wherever you are watching from. So let me just know from where are you watching the stream right now. What do you think about the Firefly maiden flight on June 18? That would be a thing to consider. And just seeing at their rocket is so funky looking, because obviously it can handle that paint job, because obviously it's a small to medium lift vehicle. And yes, I'm looking forward to the Firefly rocket. Let's see how things look like here. When will it attach to the space station? Yan Xiaofei Yan, if I pronounced it correctly. We don't have information yet about that. I'm still, checking on with my sources. If they have any updated information, I'll let you know whenever I have the information. Okay. Otherwise, it is supposed to, if you ask my speculation, maybe like it is supposed for in 24 hours, it should dock with the station. Although, let me just check it once. Yes, it's saying right now like 30, 12 hours from now. 12 hours from now, it should be able to dock with the station. But again, that's not confirmed. That's not official. So yes. Hi everyone is okay. So England, we have England people watching from England, New Zealand, South Utah, India, Japan, Germany, Oman. So we are having people watching this stream all over the world. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I hope you will have a great show today. And obviously, we have many Chinese people watching this stream. So yes, uh, they going to let this booster land wherever? Nope. This booster will splash down in the ocean. This is not going to the orbit, so that is not a concern for this rocket launch. Although let me just see if we have any other update of the time or anything. Uh, Everything is looking good though. Hmm. Yes, this is a good question. Get random. Will the docking ports be compatible with Russian, American, and European ones? See, uh, I don't have the information about the compatibility. I mean, those dimensions and all those things, but I do have this information that Russians once, asked for the collaboration in which they asked to launch their own module uh, and dock with the space station, the Chinese space station. But the Chinese declined that offer. So that simply means that China is doing everything on its own, which, like, I mean, that is cool if they want to. And yeah, so I don't know about the compatibility, whether it will be able to dock with those things. But yeah, China is right now is not planning for any international collaborations in the space station front. But yes, you can obviously send all the research experiments to the space station. Uh, Ayutakizawa says, why does the spacecraft looks like a Soyuz, but the docking port is a US docking port? See, docking port does look like a docking port only. So it's like, you can have those design changes in a docking port too, but still the docking port does look like that only, with three, those connectors which holds up for the docking. But uh, talking about what did you ask? The Soyuz. Why does it look like a Soyuz? Because Chinese have their, hereditary from Russian counterparts only, because initially when the Chinese were, new to the space flight regime, they um, used these, the Russians actually helped them with the engines and some, the knowledge, the technology. So yeah, initially they used that. So you can say somewhat they have, build on that knowledge. And otherwise, right now, whatever they are sending in and everything is their, indigenously built, nothing from outside. So yeah. No, they are not planning for the reusable. This rocket is not reusable, although they have this plans for reusable rocket too. The Long March 8 is the rocket which is wanna be reusable, and that is a unique rocket. I mean, the landing profile and that rocket itself is a very unique for it to be recovered, because it has side boosters, and those side boosters are not detachable. So for reusing the, the first stage, it has to land with the side boosters on it. And yeah, it will be landing on the drone ship, that's what they plan. And yeah, it will be landing with the boosters attached, so that will be a thing to watch. And yesterday only, guys, one research paper published. I mean, China is killing it. I must say that China is killing it when it comes to space exploration activities. Yesterday only, one research paper was published, and they are aiming for, let me say that, hold on to it. They are aiming for one Neptune orbiter. Yes, yes, you heard it right. They are aiming for one Neptune orbiter mission. And we all know there hasn't been any Neptune orbiter mission till now. And NASA is planning one, NASA's the Neptune Odyssey mission, which is an orbiter mission. Uh, so we'll have to see how the things will proceed. Although the launch time for the Neptune orbiter mission is around 2030, and at that time only the NASA will also launch it, although the trajectory for both of them is bit different. I mean, if NASA is planning to use its own, like, Atlas 5 rocket, maybe it will take around 16 years for that orbiter to reach Neptune. But if Starship is developed, obviously then it will be a faster trajectory. But again, China, on the other hand, will be taking only around 8 years to reach Neptune with their Long March 5 rocket. And can you give the link to the paper? I actually have to find out. Maybe I will tweet it once this thing gets over. So, yes. So, man, China is killing it when it comes to the space activities. The Long March 9 Trita says for lunar human mission, it is required for the Neptune missions also. Yes, the Long March 9, see, it's in development phase. Although we don't know whether it will be used this time for this Neptune orbiter for 2030, will have to see, because the development for the Long March 9 is supposed to happen maybe around like 1 to 2 flights would be there by 2030. So whether will they be considering it for launch of the mission critical, which is a Neptune orbiter mission, we'll have to see, or whether they will be going with a reliable one, the Long March 5B, because it is the Long March 5, because it is also very reliable one and a heavy lift launch vehicle. So yes, it can, if I'm not wrong, it will use one assist, the one gravity assist from Jupiter, that's it, and then it will perform around, like, I see whatever information I'm telling, it's just take it with a grain of salt, because everything is in planning stage. But yeah, that is how it is. It will be using some ion thrusters for the mission, and it will be producing around, Neptune using gravity assist of Jupiter. You should know that while that by the time it arrives at Neptune, it will be going into very fast there. So that's why, and it is carrying the ion thrusters with it. So that is the reason why it will be literally be performing a 1 year of deceleration burn with those ion thrusters. I mean, this is so complex and so advanced to think about. I mean, one continuous year, the engines will be burning to stop, slow the spacecraft down so that it can enter the Neptune orbit. Wow. Is this the re-entry of the booster planned at the crash location or no? Cobra Seal, the booster will actually splash down in the ocean, so there is not a problem with that. Okay. We are 22 minutes until the launch. Again, if you are just joining in, guys, let me just tell you that this mission, this launch vehicle is actually launching one cargo module to the space station. And that cargo module is named as Tianzhou-2. And what space station? Not the International Space Station, but the Chinese space station, which they have launched on their own. They have their core module in the orbit already, and now they are launching the cargo module. So yes. Okay. They are on the road of cooperation. You have heard that Russia is planning to use their own rocket. Yes, Russia can. Actually, what Russia asked for them to do was to adjust the orbit of the space station, so that the Russia can directly send the spacecraft or the payload to the orbit of the space station, the Chinese space station. But they didn't do that. They maintain what the planned orbit, whatever they planned for the Tianhe core module. So we'll have to see if they have a powerful rocket. We know that Russia have the powerful rocket, and they are planning to make more of those. So maybe not directly to the space station they'll able to dock, but still you can perform the orbital plane change maneuver once in the orbit. So it's not like you can't dock with it, but still it's a difficult route which you have to take. But you can reach the station if they are planning to do some collaboration. Are there information about VROM master, if I'm not wrong? VROM master or whatever, I can't pronounce it properly, but says, are there information about the Indian space program? For example, when is the next launch or plans for another lunar landing attempt? Okay, so yeah, we do have some information about the next launch. The next launch is scheduled to happen, in the June month only. Right now, um, don't know exactly what would be the date, but still That is planned. We have seen the delays happening again and again. But yes, that is one thing which is planned. And talking about the lunar landing, yes, they have this Chandrayaan 3 mission planned to be launched in 2022 to 2023. It's in planning stage and in development stage also. And yeah, that will be the India's second attempt to land on the moon. Yes. Rock says, I appreciate and respect your take on space related activities without any political leaning and stays neutral for mankind advancement. I hope the Jai crowd. Oh, no worries with that. Actually, the thing is, one day or the another, people will realize that when it comes to space and rocket science, the humanity is united as one species and not as one country, from people from one country, Asians, Russians, Americans, not like that. When it comes to space, space is for everyone. When it comes to space, it is for humanity. So whatever advancement any country makes in space technology or anything, it is the advancement which we humans will actually get to move on, to become uh, interplanetary species. So yes, that is the thing. Okay, we are 18 minutes until the launch and we have this thing already planned for you guys. So I know that this launch could just go above, vanish into the sky, and I don't know about the weather there, if it is cloudy or not, but it could vanish in the sky, and we would require some uh, thing to see whether how the things are going in. So we have this KSP animations which I made. Let's hope whether that it is in sync. Although no official, those timelines I had for each event, so we'll have to see whether how that thing goes. It's I don't know about this BTK Chem says can it launch the Voyager, right? I would have to see the payload, the mass of the Voyager, as well as the how much I have to see the mass of the Voyager. I don't know the exact mass, so maybe it can launch, but obviously the Long March 5, which is the heavier lift, can launch it anyways. I went and got more coffee, and now I see a KSP. Awesome, lol. Jim says, "Thank you, Jim." Yes, this will the KSP will go side by side. I know the thing that this mission may vanish when it goes above the clouds. We won't be able to see the stream. So yes, we should know what is going on. Okay, we are 16 minutes until the launch. Everything is looking good. As per the plan, the fueling is going on. The topping off of the liquid oxygen is on the go. And talking about any special updates, nope. Everything is looking good. Nothing as such, which is so good to hear every time. And yeah, we have the confirmation of the time also, like 12:55 UTC. So we'll have to see that now. What else do we have here? Nope, not any particular update here. Is good. Uh, okay. Can you, Starship Boy says, can you share the craft file for the rocket? Okay, so I do share the craft files, but right now I am sharing, exclusively to my Patreons, which have subscribed. And yes, right now that is the thing. I do share my craft files, but only for Patreons. But maybe in future, but right now only for Patreon. Can talk more about this rocket, with like which propellants are used on which stages. They Pratim, I already talked about everything. uh, I could repeat again. So this is a Long March 7 rocket, medium to heavy lift launch vehicle, and this uses YF-100 engines, which runs on RP1 and LOX as its fuel. Okay, so talking about the configuration, the booster stage is there are 4 boosters, which are the side boosters, and they are detachable ones. And the core stage has 2 of the YF-100 engines. So the core stage have 2 of the YF-100 engines, and the booster stages, the side boosters, have 4 of those YF-100 engines. So that is how the configuration looks like for the booster stage. Okay, and it runs on RP1 and LOX. And then talking about the upper stage, it runs on YF-115 engine, and that also runs on RP1 and LOX. So yes, that should summarize those things. What is this smoke coming out of the rocket? Not BPDR. So okay, so whosoever were wondering about the smoke coming out of the rocket, that is nothing but the liquid oxygen. So why does the smoke come out of the rocket? Let me just explain that. um, I will give the analogy of the pressure cooker. Okay, what happens in a pressure cooker? When you cook something, and because the temperature rises, the water contents, contents which are volatile, rise up and pressurize that pressure cooker. And when the pressure inside the pressure cooker becomes excess, then that whistle blows up and releases that pressure, so that the cooker itself does not blow up, right? Similar to thing Similar to that happens here. When we have these core stages, they have this cryogenic liquid oxygen. We know that oxygen exists in gaseous state in nature, right? And it does not exist in liquid state. And liquid oxygen, which means cryogenic liquid oxygen, which means around minus 180 degrees C's. So obviously it does not remain in the liquid state, because you can't control the temperature inside the rocket to stay at minus 180. So what happens, that liquid oxygen turns into vapors, those gases, and increase the pressure inside the fuel tanks. So once that those pressure inside those fuel tanks increases beyond a certain limit, there are bleeding valves, which is similar to those whistle on the pressure cooker. They open up and release the pressure, so that the fuel tank itself does not blow up with the excess pressure inside. Okay, so yes, that's why you see these white fumes coming out of all the rockets which uses the liquid oxygen as its fuel, the cryogenic liquid oxygen. And yes, those liquid oxygen basically becomes white, because still is very cold. And when it is in gaseous state, still it is very cold. But when it comes in contact with the surrounding water vapor, the humid air, it condenses it, and we can see those white fumes. So that's how the things. So we no just talking and talking, and we miss the time that we are around T minus 10 minutes until this launch. I'll have to take care, have a close look at whenever the ignition happens, because I will have to then start the ASP here. We'll have to watch it carefully, but still, right now we are T minus 10 minutes until the launch. Do we know the launch azimuth? The Chinese haven't released anything yet official trajectory plan. We do still have some NOTAMs in place. Maybe by seeing that, we can have some rough guesses of the azimuths and all those things. What happened to the Tiangong-2? By the way, it was deorbited, if I'm not wrong. Although I haven't followed the developments of the Tiangong-2, but I do know that the Tiangong-1 and the Tiangong-2 both were the prototypes missions, which means they were testing the human spaceflight capabilities in the orbit with those stations. And this Tiangong-3 station, which they have developed now, will be the permanent one, and right now they are aiming for 10 to 15 years of life with proper maintenance. So let's see how things goes. So guys, we are getting in close for the launch. T minus 9 minutes until this launches. Everything is looking good, and let's hope we have a good show of this rocket. Yes. Previously this mission was cancelled, or I should say scrubbed. This mission was scrubbed for 2 times. First was the problem with the sprinkler system, and the second time it was because of the problem in the booster stage. Although whatever, again I'm repeating the disclaimer that whatever I am saying with the you know those problems here are just the speculations by seeing the people working near some particular component. So yes, and some unofficial source. So there was some issue with the pressure accumulator of one of the booster, and the booster serial number was 1. And let me just tell you that what is this serial number 1. I mean, how can you say, look at it and say it this is a serial number 1 rocket? uh Serial number 1 booster, sorry. Okay. it, when is the Okay, so the booster number 1 is actually the booster which is on the rear right hand side if you view this rocket from the front. So we are viewing this rocket from the front. So the booster number 1 is the booster which is on the rear side, and on the left, sorry, on the um right hand side, rear right side. So yes. Okay, T minus 6 minutes 55 seconds until the launch. Man, this is coming in hot here. The thing is looking good, man. Let's hope this thing launches today. 'To install even KSP, my computer can't handle the scatterer. Yes. Pratim, actually the scatterer takes a lot of RAM as well as processing power. So yeah. So things are getting in hot here. Watching from India. India being on the news station would be great. Make it international. Uh, right now they don't have the plans to make it international, but you can always send your payloads to the station for further. So by looking at those fumes, the tentative time for the launch, guys, I think they are, securing the locks right now. We'll have to see. Hey, uh, Launch delay, nope. I don't think so. Oh, that was a shake of the camera and not the a rocket. Okay, they're just adjusting and getting ready for the tracking of the space this rocket. So yes, everything is looking good, guys. Man, this is happening. It is happening. T minus 4 minutes left. Let's hope this rocket lifts off from the pad today and we get a spectacular launch today. Wow, Long March 7 is ready to go. Right now the things are looking good only, no as such problem. T minus 5 minutes until the launch. Everything is looking good. Yes, we are going in for further with the countdown. And yes, let's just open this sound if any have to see. Okay, fine. It is happening, guys. Finally, you will see some beautiful show here. T minus 4 minutes. This is all liquid booster stage. The booster as well as the rocket core stage itself. So you will see some epic plumes coming out of the rocket. Her time is the charm. Yes, people say that, and let's hope this is the charm for today. Man, now they have secured the LOX lines, which means they are not topping it off. Yes, they are moving in for the launch. It is happening, guys. I will have to be ready. T minus 3 minutes until the launch. It can happen anytime now because the countdown could be a bit off. T minus 3 minutes. Happening. It's happening. T minus 2 minutes. Okay, again, guys, those who ever just joined in, let me just tell you that this rocket is launching the cargo module for the space station, the Chinese space station. And they just launched the core module for their own space station. And now they are launching the cargo module. So this is the cargo module. The Long March 7 is on your screen and it is ready to go up into the space. Whoa, we do have some good cameras in here. T minus 2 minutes. It's happening. It's happening. Let's hope we have a good launch today. We are go for the launch. In just T minus 1 minute and 30 seconds, you will see this rocket go up in the sky. Oh man. Ah, I can feel my heart, you know, being so anxious right now. It's the silence before the beast opens up. So just listen in now. T minus 1 minute. Minus 45 seconds. Guys, it is happening. Minus 30 seconds. although there could be some delay, so let's see if whether the clock is correct or not. 20. We'll have to wait if this launch does not launches at the given t minus 0. We'll have to see and wait. Okay, relax guys, the launch is imminent. And there you have it, guys. Whoa. Man. See those beautiful plumes. Oh man, this looks so beautiful. Those YF100 engines looking so good, man. Right now the booster should be doing the pitch over maneuver. I mean the rocket should be doing a pitch over maneuver. I just can't, you know, say those technical stuff right now. Just live this beautiful moment. Wow. Man. Okay, and as usual, it was supposed to vanish inside, those clouds will be there in between. Maybe he's trying to track it though. Yes. Maybe we see those, booster separation properly. Although you can see the live simulations coming in with this KSP, should be knowing and you should be able to get as in what is happening right now. Wow, that was so beautiful. Man, okay, so yeah, we don't have the views of the rocket now, but still the KSP is there to save our day. We can see what is actually happening. Sometime now the booster separation should happen. Is still progressing as it should be, going to the orbit. Okay, looking good. We like, are they tracking it or not? Like, yeah. So where we have the booster separation. Yeah, there you go, guys. It was in perfect sync. Wow, we saw the booster separation there. And the Meco, here we go, the Meco and the second stage ignition. This was so cool. And okay, so the YF115 engines basically has 4 of them, but yeah, this one has 2. Because 4 KSP stock 4 engines are not there, so yeah. Okay. This is the upper stage, now progressing it. Pairing separation confirmed. It should have happened by now. We can see the rocket also progressing, which we can see in that bright spot on the sky. Man, the rocket launch was so beautiful. Yes, people are very, very excited. And guys, the that launch camera was actually set up by those enthusiasts only. This was not an official stream. So yes, you can expect something problem with the tracking of the camera, but still it's look like everything was nominal there. And it is the second stage is still firing, although there are four engines, just keep in mind. And it is firing the boosters to the intended orbit. And we can see the the Tianzhou-2 cargo space cargo. Oops. So yeah, we can see the Tianzhou-2 cargo module right now going to the station. Let's see how everything goes now. Why is there no official video? Because yes, there is no those official coverages. There actually, they on 20th we were supposed to have one official coverage from China itself, but they didn't that didn't happen. But then those scrubs and all those prevented again for providing those coverages. So yes. Guys, did you like this animation? I mean, are these useful here? Should be. I think so. You should be able to get in as in what is going on. Yes, man. Okay, right now we are just seeing on the booth. The second stage actually fires up for the very long time, which you can see here. And yes, it's a game. Yes, it's a KSP game. But I say it as animation because many people don't know those are KSP. So yes, this is a KSP, the Kerbal Space Program, the ultimate rocket game which you can ever get. So you can just go in there, and this right now there is a sale also on Steam. So you can just go and buy it, and you will get this awesome game for a very low price. Yes. When will the payload be separated? It should be there in the animations itself, the KSP simulation itself. So yes, you should be seeing that. Okay. So thank you so much for that 5 man. Congratulations and thanks for your professional introduction. Thank you, man. I mean, your support and all those things basically provides me to move forward with all these things. No telemetry, nothing. Yes, but we can expect some official coverage, the news coverage to happen after this thing, deploys in the orbit. We'll have to wait, but still, right now, the second stage is firing to circularize as well as raise the apoapse to intersect with the core module's orbit. So right now, that is happening with the second stage. What motor is on the second stage, they say, Robert? Actually, they have this YF115 engines, four of them. Right now you can see two of them, because yeah, okay, we don't have KSP 4 engines. I thought I could have done something else, but I thought this is looking good, so yeah, I went with this. But again, there are YF115 engines which runs on RP1 and locks, four of them. And thank you so much for that 2 man, really helps it. And thank you so much. Any further separation now on animation? Yes, the payload will separate, open up its solar panel, and yes, maybe coast towards um, um, the apoapse of the orbit, and then again fire up its engine to rendezvous with the Tianhe's core uh, module. Where people saying, where do I find the official news? I will switch over to that once we have this thing properly deployed. So yes, my captain says, Rocket Gyan, do you have it? Have you talked to any of the YouTube people in the Boca Chica, you should. I know I should, but I tried to contact them, although didn't get those, uh, because I need some team coverage from there also. I do have people, you know, uh, willing to help, but still we'll see how things look like. But right now I try to contact them, but no response till now. And there we have the upper stage engine cut off. Now the stage separation, which means the payload separation should happen. And there you go. And this is the maneuver which the payload performs so as to, go away from the second stage and so that it does not hit the second stage. Yes, around 6.5 hours. Yes, Chris Go, you are very right. I also heard it from my sources that it will take around 6.5 hours for this thing to dock with the station. Here you go. So we can see a beautiful sunrise here. And yeah, the cargo module, the Tianzhou-2 cargo module is now coasting to the maybe you won't see the I haven't uh, done the animations for the rendezvous and the capture, but you will see those solar panels deploy here. And there you go, the antenna also. Yeah, finally it has launched. You can see here we have the cargo module. Right now it should be in the orbit and it should have separated. Don't know about the solar panel deployment time, but still it should have now been separated, as well as the mission should have commenced by now. These are your animations, incredible. Yes, these are the credit goes to the KSP developers team. I have made the craft file there, but they have made such an awesome game here, which you can see, which actually made me possible to do this beautiful animations for you. Okay, finally, let me just see now, because this is in orbit. Let me just see if we do have any official coverage, the CCTV coverage. And that was awesome. Okay, I am out of fare. Thank you so much, my friend. Have a great weekend, everybody. Says Jim. Thank you so much, Jim, for joining in. If you don't know, guys, he's one of the devs here, the KSP devs here. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. But right now, don't go anywhere because I will still be searching in for the official confirmation as well as the news coverage. So just hang in there. Let me just see. We have any confirmation or so. Although the launch was so beautiful. I mean, wow. Did you see that launch, man? That was so beautiful. Yes, we don't have any update here. Okay, looking in for CCTV news. The CCTV says, will it be berthed to the station or the dock? From Keor, it will be docked. It will use this, the aft docking port situated on these uh, rear of the core module. That's a quick docking port which the Tianhe has. So yes, it will use that. Just a sec. Let's see. No, CCTV right now does not have any coverage, but still, what is the time for its that news coverage, for special news coverage? Because we must be having some news coverage on CCTV. So yes, I don't know the time though. Okay, now guys, let me just talk about this thing here, which you can see. Uh, where is it? We since we have now seen the launch, so and we are awaiting the official confirmation. So let's just have a look at what will happen now. Okay, so this is the thing which you can see right now. What actually happened right now? Let's just see there that. Okay, so the rocket actually launched here, which we can see, and right now it's in the. It should have separated the cargo module and should be in this orbit. This is, you can see, that's an elliptical orbit here, and this orbit is the cargo module orbit. This smaller one which you can see, and this one, this more circular one, is that Tianhe core module orbit, and we can see that the apoapse of this orbit is already, intersecting with the Tianhe core module orbit. So now what will happen is, since it will, the apoapse is intersecting, it will coast to apoapse, burn up its, ignite its engines or the thrusters, and then raise these periapse, which is the lowest point in the orbit, to match with the uh, core modules orbit. Basically they're matching the, or you can say aligning their orbit right now, which will happen. So it will take around 6.5 hours for them to do this maneuver. Not only this, but that 6.5 hours will also include the approach to the station, to the more module, which will also take some time, because once it is near the station, they will you know what we see for the cargo dragon, they put it in a halt there at a certain distance, do some checks, and then they go inside the keep out sphere. So yes, we do have a keep out sphere for this also, so we will have to look out for that. So this is the thing which should happen from for now. Okay, Richard says, which wish to see the Chandrayaan 3 soon. Yep. What happens to CGTN on this launch? Need an Indian to tell the world the news? No. I don't know, man. CGTN actually, even CCTV didn't have the official coverage, so we can't expect CGTN to have. But let me just see 9:30. So in 20 minutes they are gonna live. Okay. So yes, guys, we should wait for around like 20 minutes to wait for the official coverage and the CCTV live news coverage to see whether it was, you know, have was successful or not. Just a sec. Do we have some the coverage here? As I know, 6.5 hour is already one of the fastest dockings. Where when Luo says yes, it is one of the fastest dockings. But let me just tell you that China, once if it has launched on 20th May, which was originally scheduled, it would have docked in just 3 hours. So like Soyuz fast docking for 3 hours for that manned capsule. This is a cargo capsule which could dock for around just in 3 hours, but phasing angles and all those things creates a problem. So yeah, now it will take around 6.5 hours. Okay, no official confirmation as such, so yes. Since now we were like talking about the station itself, right? Let's have a look at their, inside of the station when it is completed. Okay, so let's just hope this thing loads, and we have on load. Yeah, here you go. This is a VR experience which CMSE it themselves released. CMSE is the China's manned space. I don't know what E stands for, but yeah. This was the VR experience which they released. You can, just go out there and experience the space station by yourself. Right now, we are in the Shenzhou capsule, the manned space capsule, which you can see here. Uh, and yeah, this is how the Tianzhou will look like. Obviously, things does look like pretty cool here. Now we can move on to the node cabin of the NS. So this is once we come, out of the Shenzhou capsule, we go into this node cabin. And this node cabin is very interesting because this node cabin is actually, which one? This one. This is the node cabin which actually has this all the docking ports. Shout out to shamken.info for providing this one here. This has like 4 docking ports, one here, 2 on the left hand side and one on the bottom side. So yeah, so let's just see that here we have the front module where we will go for the astronaut complex. That is the astronaut complex and the resort spot there. Then we have this EVA, the airlock EVA here, which will allow the people to go out of the space station, the taikonauts to go out of the space station. And yeah, then here we have the research lab. If we go to the left and right side, the Wangshan and the Mangshan here, then this must be Mangshan maybe, and this must be Wangshan. I could be wrong, but those two can interchange. I can't read the Chinese here, so yeah. These are the research modules, and then finally in the above here we have one more docking port which we can see, which is basically a backup docking port. And this could maybe used for the docking 2 Shenzhou spacecraft at the same time in the station. So that is the case here. And yeah, now we can have a look at the astronaut complex itself. Here you go, the astronaut complex, or the life control cabin, as they say, the Tianhe life control cabin. Here you can see that these are the sleeping quarters for the taikonauts, which you can see. And drinking water and all those things. You can see it here also. Okay, and now if we move forward, you will see the resource code, which is actually has all those life support equipments needed for those sensors, those life support equipments, and all those things needed for the station to stay alive. So this is a resource pod which has all the resources in the main core module. So yeah, is the resource pod here, which you can see the life support and everything stays here. And in this further, if we go to the that engine room, if we open this, the engine room, the unpressurized one, as well as it provides the access for the uh, docking port, the after docking port, where the module will be docked today. So yes, that is the thing there. And now we can have a look at those experimental modules which we had. So still waiting for these official confirmation though. uh, yes, we are still waiting for the official confirmation, but apparently it went fine as per the early reports. So yes. Here you oh yeah. And I do need a two screens setup. I can't these the chats and all those things here. And thank you so much, John, for that 10. I just missed out on your super chat. Thanks again for your continued working on covering these launches. I would do. And thank you so much for your amazing contribution. Okay, so one interesting thing which I find out about this station was that this also has this coding room, which was very very interesting to see. If you see the I'll give you those inner views also, those inner sections as in what the TNA core module has. But this also has this coding room. And this is, I myself feel very excited with that inclusion of that room, because all those software needs can be done from the ground itself. We can just maintain and develop a software, or whatever software updates need to be done, they can be done on the ground and then sent to the space station. But here on the Chinese space station, we do have a dedicated coding section on the station. So yeah, that is a thing. Now let's go to the experimental module. There you go. This is a Venetian here. This is an experiment cabin wherein the taikonauts will go and do the research. Obviously, here we can see all those science equipments and the bio stuff are here. All the research and everything will be carried here only. Yeah, the thing. It will be launched in 2022 if I'm not wrong. So yeah, these are the modules, and now there is another module which is a mansion, which we can where we went this time. We have to here we have to go. This is the mansion if I'm wrong. Yeah, mansion module. Here you go. And obviously here also the scientific modules and instruments and all those things will be here. You can see. Yeah, so this is how the things look like from the inside. And still waiting, guys. Whenever we have some coverage from CCTV, guys, just tell me, okay? I will switch over to the CCTV coverage for you all to see. Fine. The telescope is impressive. Yes, Mark Jackson. They do have one this telescope also on this space station, and I am more impressed by the capability of the robotic arm which it has. So let me just share with you one video which actually summarizes these construction plans. And in that video we have some renders where we can see the robotic arm in action, and it is a very capable robotic arm. So yes, let me just video up for you. No, Yusuf, it is not any uncontrolled re-entry, it's a controlled splash down into the ocean. Okay, finally, there you go. Just watch this video and you will, but again a disclaimer here that the sound of this video is not very good, because one you will hear, so just pardon me for that.
Station. But if you're going to build an actual one in space, it's not that simple. China's Tiangong space station project consists of 3 stages: key technical verification,
So yes, there you go.
and operation.
Okay, so did you see that, guys?
3 stages.
Let me just see it again.
Key technical
Okay, here you go. This is the capability of their robotic arm, which you can see. This is an experimental module, one of the Wangshan or the Mansions, and here you can literally see that that robotic arm could be used for actually transferring the modules from one docking port to the another. So this is a very capable one and can literally transport the whole module from one port to the another. So yes,
construction, and operation. The successful maiden launch of China's Long March 5B rocket in May of 2020 was a key milestone, validating this rocket as a viable vehicle to lift the station's core module called Tianhe into its designated orbit. Tiangong will be a T-shaped structure with the Tianhe core module and Mengtian and Wentian experimental modules. Besides the 3 launches to put the modules in orbit, China has planned 4 manned missions and 4 cargo missions. 11 intensive launches in total by the end of 2022. All of China's manned space missions will rely on this Long March 2F rocket. The Shenzhou spacecraft sits on the top of the rocket. Once the core module and later the
This
entire
is a
Tianzhou
Shenzhou
station are in
spacecraft. Oh
place,
no, so this is a
this
Tianhe
specific
only.
craft will dock with the core module while in orbit. Chinese astronauts will not only conduct a number of experiments, but also carry out extravehicular.
Here you go. This is another capability of the robotic arm. It can man, the taikonauts can literally stand on it, and then this robotic arm could transport that taikonaut to a intended maintenance spot or installations location or whatever, wherever they want to go. This literally, they have this platform on this robotic arm where the taikonauts can stand, and then the robotic arm could
activities to
transport
help
them
complete
also.
the
Here
construction
you can see here we have this platform where they are standing on it.
of the
This is a
space
very,
station.
very, very capable
Living
robotic
and
arm.
working in space for long periods of time requires more supplies. This is where the Long March 7 carrier rocket comes in. It will be used to carry the Tianzhou cargo ship, which will contain food, water, and other necessary supplies to the space station. All of these missions are integral parts, furthering China's endeavors for space exploration.
Yes, was it. Okay. And guys, tell me if we have any coverage on the CCTV. Okay, I'm again asking. I'm telling you once again. Okay. If you have any questions, guys, you can ask me right now. Or that's cool how the arm can move the modules wherever they need to be. Yes, and the taikonauts also. That's a good thing which they have. I didn't know that it can handle around 20 metric tons of the modules. That is so cool. Oh, like a caterpillar. I don't know whether whatever you are saying right now is true or not, but yes, I have also heard that the robotic arm can move along this station, but still, uh, I don't know. Okay, let me see if we have any other confirmation. Nope. Waiting for the official confirmation. Nothing on CCTV also yet. The launch was successful. Space station docking in 6 hours. Uh, yeah, we don't have the official confirmation though, so we are just waiting for that right now. This thing even in orbit. Yep. Have China got a date in place for the first China manned mission to the moon? That would be that to the moon. Okay. See, the thing is that going to the moon is one of the plans which China have, and they will be using this Long March 9 rocket which they are developing right now, which will be a Saturn class rocket. Okay, super heavy lift launch vehicle. And yes, they do have the plans to land on the moon and maybe make a base on the moon, and that's where they are collaborating with Russia to make one base on the moon, the lunar base on the moon. So yes, they are in that race to consider. The launch was successful. The time is 6 hour rapid docking program. The cargo ship contained 3.5 tons of fuel, two extracurricular space suits, astronaut food, compressed air, and water. Thank you so much. So for those that information, yes, that is the thing. Although that astronaut food and water and all those supplies to for astronauts or the taikonauts to stay alive in the station is for 3 months and for 3 persons. Yes, that those must those supplies are right now on their way to the station. Waiting for the red screen exactly, man. That red screen is 1 minute later, special news coverage on CCTV. Yes, I am just waiting for that only. Special coverage will, I think, will have. Let's open it for guys. Eh, Although again, the guys, the news coverage will be in Chinese, so please translate it for other guys here so that we all can understand. Right now the translations are not working and it's not very effective also, so it's better with when we have actually the people who know Chinese are translate. Yes. And talking about the manned spacecraft to the this space station, for the Chinese space station. The currently the launch date is for June 10. Although since this cargo module delivery has been delayed, uh, could it impact the launch of the manned spacecraft? We'll have to see that. Come on. Uh, one man. Okay, guys, if you have any other questions, you can ask me, or we can just discuss some plans or space as in general until we get some information. Okay, working as intended. Why it is just not loading here? Come on, man. Code. Thank you.
对患者进行心肺复苏。AED 到达后，按照
Okay, okay,
以
okay.
下
Will the Walrus says, will the station have the window? Oh yeah, must yes, it has one window at least for the EVA airlock. They must be having a window because there is one thing called astronaut psychology. Okay, and that is one factor which people who are the mission control who are involved in human space flight takes it as a biggest concern because that is unpredictable and that can literally hamper the mission. I remember that during one time in the Skylab mission, the you know those astronauts were working overtime or something like that, and they literally went on a strike because they were not I don't remember like the exact reason, but yes, they literally went on strike and they didn't do any work on that day. So human psychology is important, and yes, talking about human psychology, this type of human psychology kind of a thing is there on the mission requirements itself. Okay, in whenever any human space flight mission occurs, this human psychology is also taken into account, and for that you have these internet connections. Okay, so we do have some coverage. We do have this internet connection, planned family calls, video calls, and all those things. So these are the things which we need to take above to the station and add to the payload mass. But then again, they need to replenish it also sometimes, those leisure things. But this window is a free leisure where once installed, the astronauts and taikonauts can enjoy this thing. So I think we do have some coverage on CCTV. Let me just check. Now we should be seeing some views of today's launch. We should be seeing something. Let me just see if we have the English version also. Maybe CGTN is also doing that. Just a second. Yes, CGTN is also doing it. Let me just switch over to CGTN.
星空浩瀚无比，探索永无止境。
Guys, would be better for all of us to understand.
Of the China space station.
Right.
Just after that, we will also test the technologies, other technologies such as refueling. Although we've already tested this technology in our Tianzhou-1 and Tiangong-2 mission, but still, this is the first time that in an operational flight mission. So the Tianhe-2 will provide the propellants for the Tianhe-1 core module.
So the next step is for 3 astronauts to be sent to the core module. How far away are we from that happening?
Originally, according to the announcement of China Manned Space Agency, it will be happen in June. But you see that because of we found some malfunction just before the launch, just after today, 1 week before. So we delayed this launch. The Tianzhou-2 mission is delayed. So I believe that maybe some delay. Maybe it is in June or July. But you see that the Shenzhou-12 mission will be a very important mission for not only the construction, but also to master the technologies, especially the regenerative life support system. You see, during the before missions, in all the Tiangong missions and in all the Shenzhou missions, they used non-regenerative life support system. So the oxygen, the water are not reused. This time, we will test the regenerative life support system in the Tianhe-1 in the Tianhe-1 core module. We have this kind of instrument on board the station, but only when the astronauts is entered this core module, we can perform this kind of research. It is very interesting that even the urine of the astronauts will be reused into water to generate oxygen or even drink by them directly.
So in the space of time that these astronauts will be in the space station, how many more cargo ships are expected then or planned if there is such a regenerative system going on?
Well, with you know that we astronauts can stay in the Tianhe-1 for 3 months. This is not because we don't have enough resupply, but because we will also carry other instruments to the station, such as the EVA space suits, as I have mentioned. So for the Tianzhou-3 mission, you see that the 3 astronauts taken by the Shenzhou 13 spaceship will take to the Tianhe-1 core module, and the 3 astronauts will stay there for half a year. So the Tianzhou-3 cargo ship will bring the resupplies for
Professor Young, I'm so sorry to have to cut you off. This is really interesting what you're telling us now, but we want to go and look at some of the live pictures of the launch.
Yes, please play this launch. That was so spectacular.
The pictures of the launch.
Is this the video of the launch?
So, as we said, China sent its first shipment of cargo to the core module of its space station. The Tianzhou-2 spacecraft was launched just before 9 p.m. Beijing time. That was just over 40 minutes ago, or that was 1 p.m. GMT. Now, what this will do is to transfer propellant and supplies for support future human missions. So, let's take a look back at some of this exciting process.
It was so cool. And here you go. Please remove the
overlay. Right, Professor Young, so I'm coming back to you now. So just explain to us a bit more about this Tianzhou-2 spacecraft. Now, we're hearing that people are calling it the most efficient cargo spacecraft in the world. Why is that?
Okay. Exactly. You see, the United States have the Dragon cargo ship, have the Cygnus cargo ship. The Soviet Union and Russia have the Progress cargo ship. And Europe have ATV, and Japan has HTV. all these spacecraft have their own features. The largest one is ATV, which can bring about 8 tons of resupply to the International Space Station. But we should also know that the ATV is very huge, more than 16 tons. So although our Tianzhou cargo ship is not the largest one, which is only about 13 tons, but it can provide more than 6.5 tons of resupply to the station, including the food, water, and also including the propellants. So you see, more than half of the mass of the total mass of the Tianzhou is the resupply. So it is the most efficient cargo ship comparing with the cargo ships of other countries.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
And Professor Yang, something I want to know about the astronauts when they're in the space station. So we're hearing that there can be 16 sunrises a day on a space station. How is this going to affect their biological clock? You know, are their schedules, obviously they're going to be different from those on Earth. So how do they handle this? What kind of training has been given to them?
Don't worry. So, according to the announcement of China Astronaut Center, they will stay in the station with a schedule of Beijing time. So that means that they will get up every morning like in the like Earth in Beijing time, and also sleep at night according to Beijing time. So they will have the same schedule as the Earth. Actually speaking, the astronauts will be very, very busy. You see, they have a lot of work to do. This time we will not only operate the station, but also as we have discussed, we will test the technologies. So the astronauts will perform the EVA, as I have mentioned, and also they will operate the robotic arm to have all kinds of operations, such as the transposition of the robotic arm from one place to another, and also use the robotic arm to adopt a lot of very complex operations. And also they will, as you have mentioned, have many experiments inside the station, like the biological experiments, like the fluid mechanics experiments, and also even the growing of plants or some other things. So they will be very busy in the station, and also the food, I have mentioned, from the resupply ship will be very delicious for them. And also, I believe that's like the astronauts from the International Space Station, the most enjoyable thing for them is to observe the Earth. There are windows on the Tianhe core module, so they will enjoy the beautiful sightseeing on the Earth everywhere from the window. I believe that will be the most happy time for the astronauts.
Okay, let's look
yeah,
in for
no
the
doubt it's going to be a
now.
very fascinating experience, one that, you know, we can only really imagine to happen. Now we're just looking at the pictures of the launch earlier now.
Asian.
And there we are waiting for the launch of the Long March 7Y3 carrier rocket. So this was earlier, about 45 minutes ago, in 9 p.m. Beijing time. The carrier rocket lifting off from the Tianzhou-2 Cargo spacecraft.
Oh man, see the camera angles.
So we're seeing pictures taken by the booster camera on the rocket body. During the ascent, different stations were monitoring the rocket relay. And I'm not sure if you can hear the sounds
See
there.
these views, see the marked diamonds.
And we can hear a series of normal commands that's being relayed from the different stations, monitoring stations. And the Tianzhou-2, as we said earlier, is a cargo spacecraft carried by this Long March 7 carrier rocket. And that is a new generation of medium-sized carrier rockets developed for China's manned space project. And its main target orbit is low Earth orbit, which is 200 kilometers in perigee and 400 kilometers in apogee. If that makes any sense to you. The carrying capacity of the low Earth orbit is 13.5 tons. So a lot of details, technical details there about this rocket. And the Tianzhou-2 is headed for China's core module of the space station. It's going to be delivering supplies and materials like propellant and other things for the functioning of the space station, and also for the research that will be carried out on the space station in the later stages.
So again, the replay was also very fantastic.
So what you're hearing now, seeing now is the staff busy in the hall. All absolutely fascinated and
we should be seeing
with what's going on there.
booster
Anxious, no doubt.
cutoff and separation now.
So the core module of the space station, as we're seeing now, was operating at a very, very high speed. So if the Long March carrier rocket wants to send the Tianzhou-2 cargo spacecraft to the scheduled orbit and precisely dock with the Tianhe core module, this rocket, it was very important that it took off on time, otherwise there could be some problems.
It has not
Technical
successfully
improvements have
docked
been
though.
made to ensure the launch of the Tianzhou-2 cargo spacecraft into orbit and the docking goes successfully. According to the China Manned Space Engineering Office, the Tianhe core module, which launched into orbit on April 29th, has completed all of its tests and all the functions are normal and in good condition.
Booster
So it is now just
wow.
waiting for the Tianzhou-2, the cargo spacecraft, to arrive and to dock.
How cool does it look like, guys? Not a Coriolis cross, but still. And there we have the booster mains
Now you're looking
engine
at
cutoff
the
and
simulation
separation.
image on the right.
Then we have the
You can
upper
see
stage
that
ignition.
the booster has separated.
We should be having the fairing sep now, which will expose the core module.
As we heard earlier from our guest, Professor Yang,
There
so
you
the
go.
next stage would be to send 3 astronauts to the space station, and they'll be living there for 3 months, during which they'll be conducting a lot of different experiments, including regeneration of water, oxygen, and the like.
Exactly, the IR band
Yes.
camera. See, this is the
you see
thing with
that,
China, that they, whenever they provide the launch coverages or this launch views, they make sure that they give the best quality images and the videos and whatever camera angles possible. I have seen that in couple of launches from now on, and yes, they are considering it very seriously.
We use the device called the vapor compression distillation device. With this, we can vaporize the urine with very low pressure and also with very low temperature. This can save a lot of energy, and also the urine produced can be used for producing the oxygen and hydrogen by electricity.
And we can see the
And then,
separation, guys.
The oxygen can be used for breath of
Mission
the
was
astronaut,
successful.
and the oxygen and the hydrogen will also be used to get oxygen again from the carbon dioxide collected from the astronaut's breath. And also, you see that the urine produced water can not only used for producing the oxygen, but also can be used for cooling and also for the drinking. So we've already mastered this technology, but still it must be confirmed by the astronauts. And also the regenerative support system, as I mentioned, is very, very important, because you know that without this system, we will need more resupply ships. If this can be successful, can be proved of the feasible for the operation of the station, we will only launch the Tianzhou cargo ship for about 2 cargo ships every year, or even longer. So they will save a lot of money for the operation of the station. And the launch today is very critical. You see that the basic condition for the docking is to launch the Tianzhou-2 spaceship into the same orbital plane with the Tianzhou-1. This is very critical. So we use what we call the zero launch window. The accuracy
Professor
of the
Yang,
launch
sorry,
window
just to
will
cut
be
you off
less than
there.
1 second.
Thanks so much for pitching in and explaining to us, but
All
right, and there we go. We just had the official announcement.
And we have a big red screen, guys.
Tianzhou-2 spacecraft. The cargo spacecraft is headed for the core module, the
There
Tianhe
you
core module
go.
of China's space station.
And
在此，我代表西昌卫星发射中心、文昌航天发射场和文昌发射场区
So
任务
this has
指
been
挥部
launched from the
对参加这次
Wenchang
任务的所有
spacecraft
单位
launch site, which is over in China's Hainan
表
province.
示热烈祝贺，对
China's
莅临指导
southernmost,
的各位领
island
导和专
province.
家表示衷心感谢。此次任务发射阶段工作到此结束，谢谢大家。
All right, Professor Yang, let's get back to you.
So thank you so much, Juke Leong, for that 499. Congratulations to CNSA, and thank you for the coverage, Rocket Gun. My pleasure, man. I really, it really feels good to see that all support that I'm getting. And yeah, if you want to support me further, you can become a Patreon. Link is down in the description, and super chat is enabled for one-time fund.
Have the launch window when the launch site is passing through the orbital plane of the Tianhe-1. So that is what we call the zero launch window, which means that the accuracy of the launch time, the liftoff, must be better than 1 second. So you can see how critical it is. And after they have come into the same orbital plane, usually they are not in the same position. So that is the reason that you have already described or repeated the parameters or the orbital parameters of Tianzhou-2. You see it's a little bit lower than the Tianhe-1, which means that it's orbiting the Earth faster than the Tianhe-1. So that makes it a chance to chasing the Tianhe-1 core module closer and closer. And once they have come into a distance less than 50 kilometers, they will use the instruments such as the rendezvous and the docking radar, and also the LiDAR, and also other optical sensors to measure the relative distance, relative angle, and other parameters. So this will be another critical stage. Although we've already mastered this technology and performed many times, but still it is very risky and very dangerous. So we will have automatic docking by the Tianhe, by the Tianzhou-2 spacecraft as the active one, and the Tianhe-1 core module as the inactive one, and they dock together automatically.
I've heard this docking described as, as intricate, as difficult as threading a needle. How do they train for this?
Well, you see that this one will be automatic docking. But actually speaking, to be a kind of redundancy or to be more reliable, in fact, we also have manual docking. In the future, maybe in Shenzhou-12 missions, or will be in Shenzhou-13 mission, we will test the technology of manual docking, not by the Shenzhou spaceship, but the Tianzhou spaceship. This is different because it will be a remote-controlled manual docking. So the astronaut will stay in the Tianhe-1 module, and they will have the remote control of the Tianzhou-2 or Tianzhou-3 cargo ship, and then manually they dock with the station. But you see, this is really, really dangerous. In the years before, during the docking of the Progress M34 cargo ship with the Mir space station, there is something wrong happened. The cargo ship collided with the station, and some of the one of the module depressed by a very big hole. So you see how difficult and how dangerous it is.
Professor Yang, will there be much international cooperation in the plans ahead for China when it comes to the space station?
Exactly. You see that the China Manned Space Agency has already worked very closely with UNOSA, or United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. They've already called for the experiments from all countries. So they've already collected some, including those from other countries. I believe this time or next time, the experiments will be brought, the instruments will be brought by the cargo ship to the Tianhe-1 module, or even all the experiment modules in the future. And in the future, it is also possible that the astronauts from other countries to visit our space station by Shenzhou spaceship. You see that Miss Samansha from Europe, the astronaut, has already been trained in Qingdao for the rescue mission, for the rescue trainings. This is possible, so you can see the possibility of the visit of foreign astronauts, and also it is very possible for the spacecraft from other countries to visit our space station. Technically speaking, theoretically, our Tianzhou cargo ship can also deliver cargoes to the international station, but the docking mechanism must be changed to have the same configuration.
Okay.
Professor Yang, it's been fascinating speaking to you. I love hearing all about that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Professor Yang Yuguang with the China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation. Well, let's take a look back at some of the highlights from the launch of the Tianzhou-2 Cargo spacecraft now.
This was so good, I must say that. When the information, first of all, just relive this launch. It was so beautiful, man. Wow. I mean, whenever the rocket launches, I just forget about all the technical details and everything. just see the launch and see the views, and just live that emotion, just live that feeling of the rocket being launched right onto the space. Wow. Let's get a feel of that overview effect. Yeah, it's like a science fiction only. Once we have those nuclear fission rockets properly developed and launching from the Earth itself, the science fiction would become a reality for us.
And that was the launch of the Tianzhou-2 Cargo spacecraft headed for the core module of China's space station, an exciting moment and step forward in China's aerospace program. And that's it for this special coverage. I'm Tianhe. Thanks so much for watching. See you in a few minutes again for The World Today.
Okay, so we had that here. Cool. So guys, there you have it. And we just saw what we heard, that man, literally this Tianzhou can dock with the ISS, but they need to change the configuration of the ships. And yeah, this is what we want, right? So before going into anything else, look at this thing. And yeah, so big red screen confirms the success of this rocket launch. And man, this was so cool. I mean, the information that guy was telling was so good. Thank you so much, ET, for that. For really appreciate, man. Yes, I'll buy some coffee out of it. Okay. Yeah. So I was telling the information which he was telling, and which he was telling basically. Let me just simplify it and say it in easier words. So he was talking about these orbital planes and the launch windows and everything. So there is one thumb rule which you all can remember, that if the latitude of the the launch site is less than uh, the inclination of the orbit, then you have 2 launch windows per day. Okay, this is what we have for KSC, the Kerbal the Kennedy Space Center, not the Kerbal Space Center. Wait, KSP is all over my mind, right? Okay, so yeah, that is how the things happen. And yeah, he was actually talking about that one particular point when the orbital line actually the orbital plane actually crosses the latitude of the launch site, and at that very moment they need to launch. So that, and why do they launch at that very moment? I mean, they could have launched to at any time, like what we do for in KSP missions, right? Yeah, but in KSP also we do look for launch windows. But still, if you don't know, let me just tell you that when we launch at a particular time, when the orbital plane is actually intersecting with the latitude, at that particular time if we launch, then you don't want to, and you don't have to actually perform any orbital plane change maneuver, which saves a lot of delta V. You can actually go to your targeted orbit just using the rocket. And yes, using the rocket you can just go to that uh, module or the orbit. So that's how the launch windows and all those things work. So thank you so much all guys for joining in. US wants to, okay, switch to CCTV 13 please. Is CCTV 13 still on? Let me just see. If we have something, then I'll switch over to that. A sec. Maybe we can have some more info. CCTV 13 is if still they are live, providing the information. So yeah, that is what he was saying. Also, the most interesting thing which I which we got out of it was the manual docking. Yes, they will perform a manual docking also. Okay, it is going on. So let's just have a look at this also. Guys, please translate all the my Chinese guys here, people here, please translate it. Okay.
的这个长城8号，以及今年成功飞行的这个长城7号甲，都是基于我们这个长城7号火箭的这个基本型 而形成了这个火箭。这几型火箭呢，一起构成了我国后续的这个新一代中型火箭的这个型谱。在未来吧，应该也是有一个高密度的发射。
天舟2号货运飞船的发射取得了圆满成功。那接下来呢，我们再和演播室的方总一起来进一步的了解一下天舟2号这艘货运飞船哈。刚才我们在片子里面其实也听到了一个概念，叫做载货比，而且它的载货比是目前全世界所有货运飞船里面最高的。载货比是一个什么概念？来给我们解释一下。
那个载货比就是货运飞船上行的货物和推进剂的总重量跟发射重量之比。目前天舟2号货运飞船。整个天舟货运飞船，我们上行载荷都比平台的重量就重，这个在世界上没有一个国家超过的，我们是唯一一个超过的，0.5几以上。
0.51我看了一下，其实就是说上行运力和飞船总量。那我也理解，如果说飞船自重越轻，我们这个比重就越高，也就是说我们的运货效率越高，是吧？
是的，是的，这是飞船的一个固有特性，就是它的一个能力，它具有这么大一个能力。
所以说我们天舟2号既能运货，而且自身还特别轻，所以特别适合来运货。另外还有一个问题就是说，我们货运飞船专门给货运设计的，只运货不运人，对吧？那这一次货运飞船它的这个运货物资里面，您对哪些物资印象比较深刻？
这次货运飞船的物资，如果按货物的形态来分，可以分为气体，就是氮氧、空气等；液体就是水、推进剂。还有固体，我们大家都知道航天员的生活物资，然后实验设备等，还有那个需要低温上行的那个物资，就比如说我们现在那个天舟2号货运飞船上行的一个冰箱，冰箱里边有为航天员进行各种测试的和出舱活动的一些试剂的消耗等。
冰箱我们听上去直觉老觉得我们冰箱是为了给航天员准备一些吃的，怕坏了，然后先冻在那儿。冰箱里面除了有这些，比如说未来需要做空间试验的一些东西以外，会保存一些给航天员的食物吗？
目前还没有，就是食物，我们现在的食物在天上的保存时间是足够满足任务需要的
所以不用特别去发个冰箱上去哈。
对的。
那另外，其实天舟飞船呢，虽然它空间还算挺大的，不过带的东西也很多，就需要进行一个非常好的收纳。咱们在收纳过程中是不是也考虑了很多这个科学性，让它能够尽量装得更多一些？
是的，就是我们刚才说到的那个载荷比，那是那个飞船的一个能力，但是在已有的空间里面，如何装更多的货物，然后来实现就是达到那个火箭的发射重量，就是最大的发射重量。这里边确实我们做了很多工作，就是上行的那个货物，我们一般是2种方式，一个是通过货包上行，另一个是直接安装。对于用货包上行货物，这个装载密度，就是我们还有另外一个概念，货物的装载密度，这是最好的，因为那个货包对，它是布的，是织物，它就比较轻一些，用它来上行，可以上行更多的那个东西。所以我们目前既设计了标准货包，也设计了专用货包，然后来适应各种不同的货物，还有不同尺寸的那个货物，既满足它的适应性，另一方面就是我们在对那个货包进行分配的时候，也是根据不同的货物，大的、小的、重的，然后进行一个合理的分配，来达到不仅是用货包上行，而且要实现货包的装载率更高。
哎呀，你看您一解释我们就知道了。虽然我们说天舟2号还是挺能装的哈，上载的这个吨数很大，但是呢，我们也需要去非常缜密的去布局每一项货物的位置，包括大小，连包装货物的这些包装都要考虑到它的重量，越轻越好。
是的。
我们看到现在呢，距离天舟2号货运飞船发射升空进入预定轨道，已经过去了一段时间了。那么天舟2号此刻的情况怎么样了？后续还会将与天河核心舱对接，做什么样的准备呢？我们来连线正在北京航天飞行控制中心采访的总台央视记者劳春燕。春燕你好，来给我们介绍一下你那边了解到的情况。
严科你好，现在是北京时间已经是过了10点哈，距离天舟2号发射升空呢已经是过了1个小时，而距离天舟2号船舰分离、天舟2号入轨呢，恰好是过去了差不多1个小时哈。那么此时此刻，天舟2号是在一个近地点200公里，远地点大概是300多公里这样一个椭圆形的轨道上绕着地球在飞行。而此时此刻呢，天河核心舱在经历了30个日夜的等待，在绕地球飞行了有400多圈以后呢，也正在期待着它的第一位客人的到来。但是有一点，天河和天舟之间现在隔了还有差不多将近2000公里的距离，怎么样能够把这将近2000公里变成零距离，来完成这样的一次交会对接呢？这里就要说到一个刚刚在20多分钟之前发生的一个非常重要的事件啊。首先是大概是在入轨之后的20多分钟，也就是9点半左右呢，天舟2号就开启了快速交会对接。然后随后呢是在9点37分左右呢，天舟2号又是开始转入了一个自主的控制。那其实这也是这次的天舟2号发射任务当中的一大亮点，也许是最大的一个亮点啊，因为这是我们国家第一次在飞行器当中实战当中来应用飞行器的这个自主快速交会对接技术啊。那么有一些什么样的特点呢？包针嘛，怎么找呢？那么按照我们以前的做法啊，咱们国家的飞船在发射升空以后呢，都是先由地面来进行测控，地面来进行计算，然后地面干预，地面发出一道道的指令，引导着飞船一步一步的向它的目标飞行器对接目标来进行靠拢，一直把它引导到离对接目标只有几十公里远的地方，然后飞船才能够进行自动或者手动的交会对接。但是这次天舟2号有了一个质的飞跃，跟以前都不一样。天舟2号在启动了这个快速交会对接以后呢，随即就开始了进行自主控制。什么意思呢？就是说在接下来的这几个小时里啊，除了一些关键的指令会由地面来发出，天舟2号将按照预先设定好的动作时序啊，自己来决定什么时候该干什么，怎么干。比如说，大概就在10几分钟之前啊，天舟2号刚刚完成了它的第一次变轨啊。那么像这样的变轨，今天晚上、明天凌晨啊，在3个小时里啊，天舟2号要进行6次这样的变轨啊，来调整一下自己的轨道。每一次变轨呢，都要点火。那究竟什么时候该点火了？究竟要点多久的火呢？天舟2号全部是自己来计算，自己来完成这样的一个个的动作。好，那这是第一个关键字啊，就是质。那么第二个关键字呢，就是快。那我们也知道啊，就是以前的咱们的飞船，不管是我们的神舟11号飞船，还是咱们的天舟1号飞船，在发射升空以后呢，一般都要过上2天左右的时间，才能够跟这个目标飞行器啊去进行对接。但是呢，咱们的天舟2号飞船可不一样，天舟2号飞船动作很快，追赶天河啊，追得很快。根据现在的飞行计划来看啊，大概再过上几个小时，天舟就能够跟天河进行对接了。换句话说呢，明天早晨啊，等大家一觉醒来的时候，就会发现天河和天舟已经成了一个组合体，在太空当中飞行了。为什么我刚刚跟大家说的是追得快，而不是说飞得快呢？这里就要补充一个咱们飞行器啊飞行的小常识了，交会对接的小常识了。因为咱们的飞行器啊都是在绕着地球转圈哈，所以咱们的天舟2号飞船它去追赶这个天河核心舱的时候，它首先靠的不是提升它的飞行速度，而是靠一次次的变轨来改变它自己的轨道，逐渐大幅度的来向这个天河核心舱靠拢。那么在把距离缩短到只有50公里左右的时候，然后才会启动一个近端的导引，经过4次的停泊点的修正，最后才能够完成这样的一个交会对接。好，那这是第2个关键字，还有第3个关键字啊，就是准。我们知道航天任务啊要求都特别的高啊，对这个精准度的要求特别的高。比如说我们普通人啊经常会说火箭发射升空10分钟以后船舰分离了，但是飞控人员不会这么说，他们会说是火箭发射升空以后600几点几秒，精确到小数点以后3位啊，船舰分离了啊，然后飞船入轨了。那么对于天舟2号来说要执行这样的一次快速交会对接任务啊， 对于这个精准度的要求就更加高了。不仅是要眼力好、看得准，而且呢是要智商高、算得准。另外还有一个呢叫动作稳、飞得准，而且这个飞得准啊，不仅仅是位置要飞得准，而且时间上还要掐得特别的准啊，所以难度是相当的高。说了那么多的自主控制，大家是不是都很好奇说，那现在是不是飞控人员们都可以休息了？飞控大厅就没有几个工作人员值守了？不是。飞控大厅里现在坐满了人啊！事实上呢，为了这样的一次天舟2号的任务，飞控人员们他们已经是忙碌了很多天。一方面呢，要进行大量的运算，把一整套的指令输入到这个天舟2号飞船；另一方面，在天舟2号飞船发射升空以后，他们必须紧盯着它的每一步动作到底完成的怎么样，数据到底计算的准不准。另外还要盯紧了它前面的轨道，要看在天舟2号的这个飞行的轨道上，前面会不会有太空碎片，会不会有障碍物会威胁到它的安全等等。所以今天对他们来说，注定又是一个不眠之夜啊！我这里的情况就是这样，严科，时间交回给你。
又聪明又快速又准确后续我们的天舟2号和天河核心舱的对接还大有可看。好，非常感谢春燕从前方带来的报道。我们看到，除了这一次交会对接呢，天舟2号将会与天河核心舱进行多次的交会对接，在完成货物运输的同时呢，还肩负着多项关键技术的验证任务。
天舟2号货运飞船采用了自动交会对接技术，通过把货运飞船交会对接中的各项信息植入软件，飞船能在天上更智能、更快速地与核心舱进行对接。
这一次的话，我们这个是全自主的一个交会对接。
Looks like we are getting some really good details here, though.
远距离的话是靠地面引导的，这次是全由船上来自主完成。这个的话，就将来就很有用啊。比如说我装了水果呀、蔬菜呀、新鲜的东西。
All depend on AI auto controlling. People on the ground will also watch out for the abnormal.
此次天舟2号将分别从前向和后向与天河核心舱进行交会对接，进行在轨燃料补加技术验证。
货运飞船与天河核心舱有2个补加口，第一个补加口就是后向，就是我第一次上去交会对接那个地方，我们俗称它的尾部。那么呢，它前部就是那个节点舱那个地方，它也有补加管路，从尾巴地方要绕过去到前面，就是实际上就是验证2个地方的补加功能都能保证补加呀。
天舟2号物资运输的使命完成后，还将验证空间站机械臂在轨操控技术，为后续的空间站实验舱到来做好准备。
我们跟空间站要联合做一个机械臂的转位实验。就相当于机械臂抓的货运飞船，从空间站上分离出来，转一定的角度，再回来，再对接。这个呢，目的的话，就是为了那个空间站实验舱上去以后，它要从前向对接以后，它要转到侧向，必须要经过一个转位的过程。我们利用货运飞船提前验证这些技术。
天舟2号货运飞船与天河核心舱交会对接完成之后，中国空间站在轨建造任务接下来就是要发射神舟12号载人飞船。根据规划呢，今年6月，我国将在酒泉卫星发射中心实施神舟12号载人飞行任务。目前，神舟12号飞行乘组已经转入了强化训练阶段，正全力备战即将到来的太空之旅。我们的记者在海南文昌也是专访了中国载人航天工程副总设计师杨利伟，我们一起听听杨利伟的介绍。
3名航天员将在轨驻留3个月，开展舱外维修维护、设备更换、科学应用载荷等一系列操作。杨利伟首先对神舟12号飞行乘组的组成情况进行了介绍。
那这一批有没有女航天员？
神12我们没有但是呢，这个以后的任务都会有都会有。基本上，我们前期的这些航天员都会参与都会参与飞行。构成情况基本上按照以前我们这个设置了，比如像指令长工程师那么根据这个分工的不同去进行训练，3个航天员都要具备出舱能力。比如说我们常态化的是一般的组织2个人出舱，那么第3个人也要具备这个出舱能力。那么一旦需要的时候，那么能够去进行替换这是我们任务当中要求的这个一个配置方式。
杨利伟介绍，神舟12号飞行乘组从第1批和第2批航天员中选出，针对第1批航天员年龄较大的特点， 航天员系统科学提高训练强度，不断提升他们在太空中的适应能力。
当然了，我们也做了一些辅助的一些工作，比如说我们用一些设备来去对航天员这种慢慢老化的进行一些矫正这样的话呢，更好的来适应下一个的飞行。我想这个飞行任务是没有问题的，因为大家也都知道，我们现在能够具备飞行能力的，那么就16个航天员，那所有的，那包括我在内，那么也是在做备份，所以全程的训练都会参加。一旦有需要，那么就能够盯得上去。所以呢，这个从训练是一直没有间断。我觉得应该说就具备这个飞行能力。
神舟12号载人飞船计划于6月升空，3名航天员将成为天河核心舱的首批入驻人员。距离任务不到1个月，飞行乘组已进入2级隔离状态，各项工作也已经进行到了强化冲刺阶段。
这个阶段呢，主要是呢针对这次任务的具体任务的一些所需要做的工作主要是一些这个组装装配以及咱们这个核心舱刚打上去之后，那么很多的上边的这个工位，包括我们这些工作的一些场景、生活的一些环境，要在上边进行布置。所以这样的话呢，这航天员在针对一些出舱的一些训练，出舱的将来的对咱们机械臂也好，包括我们这个舱外的很多的装备进行组装和调试。那么现在呢，就是要针对这些任务进行强化的一些训练。
杨利伟还介绍，在空间站的建造阶段，航天员将进行多次的出舱活动，来完成空间站航天器的维修维护以及建造等任务。
未来，航天员出舱将成为常态，出舱活动的时间会大幅增加，这对航天员提出了新的更高要求。
我们的空间站是长期有人照料，那这样的话呢，就不但涉及舱内的很多工作，还涉及舱外的工作。那这样呢，势必要涉及到很多的这些操作。那么航天员的训练，从内容到时间到强度，那么都增加了。
空间站建造阶段将安排4次神舟飞行任务，从第1批和第2批共16位航天员中选出了4个飞行乘组，同步展开相关训练。
那除了掌握一些专业的以外，那么对身体的整个的这个训练，那么现在还是加大了很多的内容比如说针对长时间高负荷包括我们这些航天员针对将来的出舱那么他比如说他的四肢的力量包括他耐力这方面，那么进行了大量的这方面的一些训练比如说我们在水下去进行出舱训练，那么时间长的时候，一次下去要6、7个小时在水下基本上航天员训练完之后回来，有时候是吃饭拿筷子都费劲就是很辛苦。
中国空间站设计有用于转位的机械臂和功能更强大的7字维度机械臂，还有可以对载荷进行精细操作的机械臂，长度累计可达15米。人机配合让空间站在轨建造维修成为可能。此外，舱外航天服已完成技术改进，能够确保航天员在安全的环境中进行一系列的空间站复杂操作和相关载荷试验。
从它的实体性和它的可操作性上来讲那么比以前有了很大的改进。再有呢，从本身的航天服的功能上包括我们的背包有很多改进，技术上还是做了很多的调整。
好，既然说到了航天员的事儿，我们赶紧和演播室的方总一起来说说航天员在我们空间站中的生活哈。大家可能首先想问的就是，我们接下来第1批航天员将会在空间站生活3个月的时间，挺长的。他们吃什么，喝什么？
他们吃的都是航天食品，喝的是从地面带上去的那个水。
我能不能理解这一次我们天舟2号上带足了他们接下来将要吃喝的这些物资？
是的，就是航天员在天上3个月的物资，主要是通过货运飞船和载人飞船2个船带上去的。你比如说像那个时效性比较强的，比如说新鲜水果，是由载人飞船带上去的。
那就是跟航天员同一个飞船上去？
是的，同时上去。 能保证它吃到比较新鲜的那个水果。然后大部分的物资，绝大部分就是3个月的生活物资都是靠货运飞船运行上去的，所以粮草先行嘛。
那我理解，比如像水这样的，可能又比较沉、比较占分量的东西，是不是就是这一次天舟2号上会有很多？
是的，水是生命之源，所以在天上就是航天员对水的需求也是很大的，而且要有充分的那个保证。水是一部分是通过地面上行。然后我们空间站还有一个再生申报系统，可以通过这个再生申报系统，把站里边的冷饮水、生活用水、废的一些水进行那个再生，然后净化，也可以变成那个航天员在天上需要的水。
还有一部分内部循环的水可以用啊。那我能不能理解，像天舟飞船，它除了能够运货上去以外，它也会是一个，比如说空间废物的一个收纳器，因为我们航天员在中间生活工作，肯定会产生一些废物。那这些废物是不是最终会回到我们的天舟飞船上去？
是的。天舟飞船不仅是要上行货物，它还有一个重要的任务，就是收集废弃物，最后把它带离那个进入大气层销毁。
那也就是说，其实我们的天舟2号飞船呢，真的是有去无回的。不过呢，中间还要发挥很多的作用哈，包括像收纳这些废物。那天舟飞船离开我们空间站的时间，应该会比我们第一批航天员要晚一些。
是的。
它的这个时间排序应该在后面哈。
是的。
包括还有很多朋友会问说，那我们在这个空间站中的氧气是什么来供给呢？我们知道这可能会有一种循环制氧的这种功能存在，是吧？
是的，氧气跟水有点类似，它也是一部分由地面带上去。我们这次天舟2号带了很多氧气瓶上去，另一部分也是通过再生申报系统，由水来那个产生氧。
哪一个是更为主流的？比如说，是我们带上去的氧气为他们主要呼吸的氧气，还是说未来这个循环系统会占主要的部分？
循环为主，然后带上去的是应急用的。
循环为主哈。另外，其实你看我们在地球上面，我们大口的呼吸氧气，是因为我们有很多的植物，它们吸收二氧化碳来放出氧气。未来哈，当我们空间站到达一定的阶段，有了更多的空间，会不会我们在上面也会种一些植物？
这个完全可能。然后在国际空间站，我们也看到了，国际空间的航天员自己也种了一些食物，我想我们后续也会有的。
如果到那一天我们能够依靠国际空间站上的植物来供氧的话，我相信那就是我们真正的太空上的一个家哈。
对的。
还是未来可期的。
是的，自动形成一个生态系统。
对。另外其实很多人都会有这样一个疑问，说我们在空间站上哈。如果把它当成一个小星球的话，我们在上面可以看到16次的日出。那这样的一种作息和我们地球上的作息完全不一样了。那也许人家的一天比我们要短很多，但在上面的航天员他们是按照什么样的这个作息来进行工作和生活呢？
在天上，航天员的作息跟我们地面是一样的，也是每天8个小时的工作。
他们也是按照8个小时来进行这个一个周期的循环。为什么这么设计呢？
就是天地一致，保证天地一致。
还有很多人担心会不会睡不好觉啊？你看一天有16次的日出，可能太阳一会儿又照进来了，一会儿又落下去了，会影响我们航天员的休息吗？
这个不会影响的。航天员有专门的睡眠区，在睡眠区里边是应该看不到16次日出日落的。
刚才还有一个小问题想弥补一下，因为我问您的时候呢被我打断了，因为刚才我们有一个重要的节点，就是临窗口的这个问题为什么会这么关键？
临窗口就是准时发射。在临窗口发射的时候，就是我们的发射轨道跟空间站的对接轨道是在同一个轨道面。如果不是在同一个轨道面的话，将消耗更多的推进剂，也是为了节省推进剂。
所以我们要讲究这个临窗口的发射，这样能够更高效率的发射我们天舟2号，更好的进行对接。好，非常感谢方总的介绍。那在昨天的2院院士大会，中国科协第10次全国代表大会上，习近平总书记说，我国自主创新事业是大有可为的，我国广大科技工作者是大有作为的。这对中国空间站工程更是这样。中国空间站由我国自主建造，实现了产品全部国产化、部组件全部国产化、原材料全部国产化，关键核心元器件100%自主可控。 每一次对太空的叩问都是下一次探索的开始，每一次梦想的实现都是下一个梦想的起点。4月29号，天河核心舱被送入预定轨道，标志着中国空间站在轨组装建造全面展开。1个月后的今天晚上20点55分，天舟2号货运飞船成功发射。604秒之后呢，飞船与火箭成功分离，精确进入了预定轨道。21点17分，太阳能帆板2翼顺利展开工作，发射取得圆满成功。现在，天舟2号已经开启了与天河核心舱自主快速交会对接的程序，太空牵手即将上演。下个月，神舟12号飞行乘组的3名航天员将进驻中国空间站，布置生活环境、安装实验设备、开展舱外维修维护等等，一个崭新的太空之家正呼之欲出。好，非常感谢大家收看今天的特别报道。
Fine. Finally, CGTN, I think they already ended their coverage, and yeah. No, I am not sleeping. I was just trying to listen, as in what is going on there. Okay, that was the thing. I was trying to get whatever was being translated, so that I can get some information about what is happening on what are they saying. So yes, they were there were some technical details also there, which we saw there. Okay, yeah, so I was saying that we do had some technical details there, and they did a pretty good job, I must say, explaining all those things, as in what actually happens there, and what are the next steps which they have to do in order to have it properly. So yeah, the originator okay. So guys, that was it. We had a beautiful liftoff. After 2 scrubs, China had a beautiful liftoff, man. They were able to do it properly this time, because previously the first time they went to try, they had a problem with the GSC, the sprinkler system, and then they had a problem with the pressure accumulator in one of the boosters. They resolved the issues, and then finally they had this launch today, and that was spectacular. All those mark diamonds of those RP1 LOX rocket are spectacular to watch any day, and the launch was magnificent. The rocket just went up and creating that artificial sun into the sky. If you have ever watched a launch in person, and thank you so much, Saifuddin Dhali, for that 40 rupees. Really appreciate it, man. I didn't miss your super chat. I was just listening to those conversation going on. So yeah, and what was I saying? The rocket goes up. Those mark diamonds. I didn't remember what I was saying, but yes, right now the module, the cargo module, is in the orbit, and we can see from this image, this graphic, beautiful graphic provided by Voni, that the apoapse is still, those apoapse is intersecting with the Tianhe's orbit, and once it will host to the apoapse, it will fire up its thrusters to dock, or you can say rendezvous with the Tianhe core module. Let's expecting Shenzhou 12. I'll be here when watching. Yes, Chill, Luo. I actually, so guys, those who is new on this channel, let me just tell you that I actually cover the launches of every space industry, the launch that happens in this every space industry. So you can consider, I don't only stream like Chinese launches, but any launch that happens. So yeah, that is the case. And thank you so much, Chris. Yani, will you end this live or waiting for docking? No, I will end this live. I don't think so. We will have something to see for the docking, But although before just ending this stream, I would want to just a sec see what do we have as in updates on Twitter, because that is the thing which we have to see here. Okay, so we do have some information that as per the official reports, both previous scrubs on May 19 and 20 were due to the LOX leakage found during the loading that was not pinpointed for several days, despite anomaly team climbing into the rocket several times to try to find the source. That is interesting. So we do have something here. I don't know whether it's an official tweet or what. Okay, so this, yeah, let me just have it for you also. There you go. So here you can see actually the details which came out officially that just zoom it. What was the abnormal problem with this thing? The kerosene and the liquid oxygen were added. The launch task was carried out in an orderly manner in accordance with the regulation. The sentence nominal in the microphone came from time to time, and each test team member performed his duties busy and not chaotic. At that time, many experimental team members believed that they were making progress towards the final success step by step. Until 21 o'clock that evening, an abnormality appeared. At that time, less than 4 hours before the launch, the data information in the launch command hall showed a pressure value parameter was abnormal and could no longer meet the launch index requirement. So yes, here you can see that there was some pressure value parameter. As I was saying, the pressure accumulator was wrong, was having some issues. So yeah, I think I was right here. This is not what we want to see. Speaking of the situation on the night of the launch, there was an unspeakable okay. Kept turning his end at last. There are more dozen than rear support personnel of the pressurized conveying system. Data analysis, but none of them want. There was no time to think. Everyone quickly adjusted their status and focused on solving the problem so that the space station construction should not be affected. This is actually all those things which happened in this mission control. At that time, no one knew that the cryogenic rocket would have undergone a 9-day rigorous test and the test crews would face more than 80 consecutive hours of suffering. Actually, see, this is what goes into rocket designing and rocket actually going to the launch. There are thousands of checks that the team has to perform, and everything should go into the right direction. Not even a single bit of thing should go wrong. Otherwise, the launch could cancel. You can see that the thing which they went through. Which part of the rocket is the problem? Is the valve or the parts? This is the problem that the test team members are most concerned about after the abnormality. The overall design department immediately took the lead in the deployment. On the one hand, they organized the test team to enter the cabin urgently to troubleshoot, and on the other hand, they worked closely with the backend, hoping to find the fault as soon as possible. Okay, realize the real-time interconnection. After the technical support personnel in Beijing learned about the front fault information, they immediately set up a rear support working group to check the past data, carry out simulation, all that. At that time, the rocket body has been filled and the tail compartment has been purged of hot nitrogen to prevent moisture from entering the pipeline. This means that the test team members must bring breathing mask into the cabin. Whoa! That is some pretty Wow, man, this is something cool information which we are having here. Oh, they need to bring in breathing mask. Okay, where was he? Into the cabin. At that time, a technician of the rocket company plant was confirming the final state of the fairing on the 9th floor. Hearing that there was a problem, he ran to the launch platform before waiting for the elevator. Okay, and after, see, this actually shows, I mean, how dedicated those engineers, technician, and scientists are to launch this rocket, and just look into what was the anomaly. After confirming that his teammates were going to enter the cabin to fix the problem, he went to pick up rescue supplies without saying a word. Immediately, the two rocket assembly personnel changed their clothes and put on their masks, got into the rocket body through the 50-centimeter square hatch. The cabin was pitch black. The sound of gas blowing off was deafening. Man, this seriously, this could, this could, can be made into a full-length documentary, whatever is being said here. Wow, man, this is so cool. This information. Okay. So the cabin was pitch black. The sound of gas blowing off was deafening. The confined space was dull, and the freezing temperature of minus 183 degrees Celsius. Everything was too late to take care of. They climbed on the structure of the aero body, groping for leak detection points. Found it after checking twice. The test team locked the problem. However, just as they were about to breathe a sigh of relief, news came from the rear, which was not the culprit. In the middle of the night, less than 2 hours before the scheduled launch time, the model leaders unanimously decided to postpone the launch. Okay. Loss occupied the mood of the test stream, and many people felt heart cooled. Okay. People are also aware that this is the result of careful research by the mission commandant is in iron discipline and a bottom line that cannot be shaken to prevent the rocket from bringing a trace of hidden danger to the sky. At 1 o'clock in the morning, the news of the postponement of the launch was announced. Okay, nothing, no hurry. The rhythm of Chinese astronaut is still on May 20. The test team members entered the cabin again in 4 groups to troubleshoot and found new problems. There is hope again. Many test team members sighed, preparing for the launch in the early morning. May 21. However, on this day, after the minus 8 hours of liquid oxygen replenishment, the abnormality reappeared and the launch was postponed again. When we found that there was a problem with the measurement curve, we felt something was wrong. The designer of the rocket booster conveying system. The same problem reappeared, and it also made everyone realize that the things were never as simple as they thought. Another night without sleep. Man, why don't we get these insights from all the rocket things that happen, these launches when there's crowd, when people actually go in and, check in what else is going wrong and what actually happened there. This kind of coverage is so cool. Rocket and overall confirmed cannot let the rocket problem with God in order to prevent postpone the launch. From the next launch window also for a few days the rocket fuel was added 2 times, and in the high temperature, high humidity and high salt fog, what kind of training does an ice arrow go through? Okay, this is destined to be a fierce battle. Return to zero in 4 days, watching the sunrise, watching the sunset, watching the stars twinkling. Okay. For every test team, the first postponement was an inevitable loss, and the second postponement was a heavy blow. Okay. But they have no choice but to regroup. After the launch was postponed, the model team adjusted its status, inverted the plan, and began a 4-day zero return. To further troubleshoot, they still have to enter the cabin in batches. The cabin was cold and suffocated, and one of the test team members vomited all over the floor as soon as they left the cabin. Man, we do have some, cool info out there. Seriously, see, guys, this is what engineers and scientists, put into considerations. Wow, man. This is so cool to have, to have such a great insight of actually what was happening there. However, after 48 hours of continuous work, no one cried out and was tired. Outside the 48 hours. Outside the cabin, the water on the aero body rushed down and was poured through. From time to time, he poked most of his body into the cabin to observe the state of his teammates as a cabin guard. He did this more than once. There is so much more to rockets than we imagine, man. Long March number 7 is veritable ice arrow. After the rocket launch was postponed for the first time, the test team found that the rocket body was icing. This is the first time in the history of China spaceflight that the rocket has been exposed for such a long time after a large amount of low temperature fuel has been refueled. Yes, they actually kept topping off the those cryogenic fuel for around 24 hours. So yes, that was a thing there. In Hainan, in May, the heat is unbearable. Outside temperature 36 degree. However, in the frost ball, there is a low temperature of minus 193 degrees. Okay. There are ice cubes one after the big ones, 30-40 centimeter long, 30 centimeter thick, 10 centimeter thick, 10 centimeter wide. Wow. Chiseled the ice with tools, and some people took the ice in their pocket lest the ice must hurt the product. Wow, man. I mean, just listening to this story is so inspiring. I mean, what they went through to get this launch into its orbit. You just take the rocket launches to such, I think right now we are taking the launches as granted, but we don't, just admire the fact that the engineers and scientists work so hard to make this possible. Okay. According to the normal process of minus 12 hours, the assembly personnel will remove the waterproofing that may have affected the flight separation. After 2 launch delays, one can imagine the workload of removing and repairing the waterproofing repeatedly. The test team members never sleep again. Okay. Young people born in the 90s, the most memorable team members have red blood in their eyes. Their legs are full of prickly heat, but their mouth says, "We can do it." Oh man. The most memorable moment of crisis, the team members have great love and said, "We can do anything, don't break the product." The most unforgettable, difficult moment, everyone did not complain to each other, only love, sympathy, and encouragement. In order to catch up with the time and progress, no one had time to take a sip of the mung bean soup delivered under the tower. They are so dedicated. This group of the first group of rocket youths who saw the rocket and the last group of evacuated at the launch site once again renewed their pledge of the black wall will not flower with the political actions, so that youth will bloom in the struggle. Later at night was quiet and quiet. The coconut trees and wind. Occasionally the shuttle made noises under the shadow of the light. Okay. 2 ground linkage cured the rocket. Thousands of miles away in Beijing, a group of astronauts also concerned about this rocket. At 1 a.m., the mobile phone, this with shop, all present after short minute, everyone acted immediately according to their respective tasks. He has entered the space launch site. Okay. And the rocket had me. His task was to cooperate with all of the certain product very close to important rocket product. Surrounding structure of the product is complicated and field that in order to work more fully could not wear gloves, so his hands were densely packed and left many scratches. Wiping with an alcohol cloth to make it hurt. To complete the task without fail, he launched the aero simulation operation 3 times in advance, repeatedly thinking about various possibilities in the dormitory, and the final 5 in 5 out, fighting for 18 hours continuously and completed all the replacement. Sweat soaking his back again and again. At 9 o'clock in the it was time to leave the cabin. At that moment, only stand firmly by holding on to handrail. He told reporters that at that moment he deeply felt that he was so close to the rockets. Every major launch mission, the rocket development team will focus on the elite troops of all types. After the launch was postponed, one has become more and more aware for the problem as the problem as possible. Okay. Return to zero schedule with them. There are other rocket developers who are responsible for quality and structure. On May 25, the zeroing work was coming to an end. The sky was blue. The clouds were spotless. On the launch day, some test team members wiped the overclothes of the rocket fairing and some meticulously wiped the body of the rocket with a towel. Okay. And will affect the whole body. It is related to the smooth construction of the space station space to earth transportation corridor, and more importantly whether the subsequent manned space program can be successfully implemented. Through the phenomena, find out the real problem inside in this return to zero. Never go to the sky without doubts and hidden dangers. After 9 days of hard work, the Long March 7 and the Tianzhou-2 have finally returned hand in hand, once again embarking on the space journey. On May 29, the propellant was refilled, and that night it was successfully launched. Finally, this is a key battle for the construction of the space station. We have one and only one goal: pursue steady success. Okay. More sector. Okay. So man, this was a good info about what actually happened. There was some logs leakage found during the loading, and that was not pinpointed for several days despite anomaly team climbing in the rocket several times to find out what was the issue. But guys, just you know, just see the dedication of these engineers, scientists, and all those things. I mean, wow, just wow. They were literally not sleeping and not going to the home, not eating anything until they find the exact problem which they had. This is so cool. Okay. So I think with that I can end the stream. That was a pretty good refresher out there. We had a good liftoff, good launch, and yes, that big red screen which we all want to see, right? You have to see whether earlier reports of 6.5 hours rendezvous profile. It's not known whether this is really correct as of this moment. So with CSS passing word just before launch, we definitely a quicker one as CCTV confirmed. Okay. So I think guys, with this separation of the booster, I just named my satellite dish to CCTV 13. Good show as always. RIP to the translator. I know. Thanks for the awesome stream again, Rocket. Can catch you all soon. Stay safe. Stay guys. Okay. Guys, yes. With that, I can end the stream. I don't know what is going on in the chat though. I'm seeing some Star Trek, Star Wars thingy going on, but okay. With that, I think I can end the stream now. It was such an epic ride to the station. I mean, the launch was so beautiful. Everything was so cool. And yeah. Finally, the launch was successful after such an hard work from anomaly engineers to find out the problem and to correct it. And then finally, when it launched, we saw such a spectacular show in the sky. And yeah, it finally launched and everyone was happy. It has been launched, and now the next major milestone is for the docking of the cargo module to the station. So yes, man, thank you so much everyone for joining in. It was a great show today, and I hope that you liked my stream today. And if you liked it, maybe give it a like if you haven't till now, and subscribe for more. We have SpaceX doing the cargo supply to the International Space Station coming up on June 3rd. So I'll be streaming that, and I hope you like those KSP simulations to go side by side. And yeah, thank you so much all for joining in. And yeah, with that, I think I can end the stream. So until then, this is Pianchu Roila. You just saw Rocket Gyan. Stay safe, stay healthy, and